Alrighty. What's up, guys? It's your boy Jeff coming to you with the nerdy extreme nerd extreme nerd table with Randall right now. But we're gonna have two more. We're gonna have Tim join us a little later, and we're gonna have a special guest join us in a little bit. So be prepared, guys. And
gonna do the Wolverine here, the schnick.
So what you been up to, Randall, this week?
Just working a lot. It's the holidays, the diamond orders and shipments are all thrown off. Right. So the good thing is, it's a little bit more laid back. I feel bad for the people who have stores, because people who have stores, it's like you're lacking new product. So when you lack new product, you have like people that aren't showing up. There's no new comics this week, or there's not a lot of new comic books this week. I'll go to the store next week. And so they're kind of relying and hoping on like random customers to be like coming in and checking out the store and looking through back issues. I don't have to worry about any of that because I do not have a storefront right now, not yet.
Well, William got a question for us.
Let's see. Oh, how was your Christmas? I have like the camera like literally like in front of the screen. So like anytime like the thing pops up and like people are like typing or you're showing what people are saying, I can't read it because it's directly behind the camera.
Oh, okay.
Christmas, probably better than my birthday.
Get anything cool?
No.
Rest. Well, you got yourself a Fitbit, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought that, but I mean, like whether it was Christmas or not Christmas, like I don't count that as a Christmas gift. It's it's cool.
It's a healthy Christmas gift. That's what it is. Yeah. But you need to start eating a little more healthy too, man.
I'm hoping. What sucks now is like I really want to get more involved in that. But to really get more involved, you got to get like the more high tech. So like I got like their cheap Fitbit, so it's a start. Like it monitors your sleep, it monitors like how many steps you're taking in a day, and it gives you like an idea of how much calories you're burning a day. It's all estimated. So yeah, I mean it's cool. It's cool. Like it's all math. I got to sit down and do the math and make a plan and follow that plan, so that way I can drop and lose the weight.
Right. It takes effort. You know what I mean?
A lot of effort, a lot of work.
Yeah.
How was your Christmas, Jeff?
Wasn't too bad. Didn't get much. Got a web camera from my sister, but since I need to upgrade my tech, so it doesn't work on this laptop here, so I have to upgrade my laptop. So,
but I didn't know you had a sister.
Yeah, I had it's adopted sister. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Adopted or non-adopted, doesn't matter. It's your sister.
Yeah.
How about you, William? How was your Christmas?
He'll answer in a few.
Oh, I know.
We got a couple more people.
That would be funny if like we asked him and then we just stood there in silence, just waiting for him to answer. I think that's something Tim would do.
Yeah.
United Comics.
Yeah. Nice. What's up, United Comics?
Like I said, I have to like look around my camera just to.
Yeah.
What it says.
I got you. And then we have can't read that one. Can you?
Actually, what I can do is, I can just pull up live comments and read it on.
William answered.
It was decent. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, I had planned to go into work. And then I kind of just changed my mind last minute, and I was just like, no, I really want to rest. Like I really want just a day off to myself.
Yeah.
And I rested most of the day, just kind of like watch TV. Gosh, what was I watching? Oh, you know what? I was watching a sitcom, Single Parents, and that's a funny show.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like I really like that show now. Mostly because of Leighton Meester. Like she's hilarious. Like she's better off doing sitcoms.
Yeah.
Cute white girl, funny.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what sitcoms need.
You see the question for you?
Let me see here. Randall Begins, you have failed this live. Thanks, man. Yeah. Oh, dude, I love the hat. Yeah, I got a really. You know what? I see your picture. You got a really cool Flash hat too. That's a really cool hat. I like that. Thank you, man. Yeah. I got this hat at Spencer's, and they had a deal going on, like buy one get one free or buy one get one half off or something like that. They always do one of those deals. So I ended up buying like 4 hats. This was one of them. There's a Flash hat, Aquaman hat, and I ended up getting a Red Hood hat, which kind of pass for a Batman hat, but it's
actually never seen you wear the Red Hood one. You always wear.
Yeah,
it's too red, right?
Honestly, I don't care for it that much. I don't care for it that much. Like I feel like the other hats look better, so I'd rather wear those hats.
Yeah. So, did you end up going to the movies at all this week or last week?
Yeah, I finally did, man. I got to hang out with my good friend, Eisner Award winner Marco Lopez.
Good.
I always like to introduce him that way.
Eisner too, man.
He won an Eisner Award earlier this year for Puerto Rico Strong.
That's good.
And he's got big things in the works, man. You know, I'm hoping by end of next year, beginning of 2021. This dude's going to be writing a Marvel comic or a DC comic, you know.
Yeah.
Like he's on his way, man. He's on his way. He's hustling, he's working hard, and he's making connections, and he writes a lot, man, you know, and he's really worked hard to get where he's at. But anyways, I hung out with him. We went and we saw Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and I liked it.
Before we talk about it, guys in chat, we may spoil a little bit, so be prepared if you guys haven't seen it. Shut the ears or
we're gonna start talking really slowly until some of you respond. And then when some of you respond and say, "Oh, I haven't seen the movie yet," then we'll be like, "Okay, we'll do a spoiler-free review."
Right.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of cool things to talk about with that film.
What did you think of the Rey thing? The Rey and
you're already getting to this. You're already spoiling it, man. Give these people time to.
I didn't say what it was.
Right. But you want to start talking about it, and if we talk about it, it's going to slip.
Yeah.
You know.
See, William hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, William had.
Yeah.
No, it says I've seen it.
Oh, I've seen it. Okay. My bad. I read it wrong.
Oh my God, the force is not with you.
No, the dyslexia is with me. That's why.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do a spoiler free. We'll start with that. That way,
spoiler free.
It gives people at least like 5 minutes to like respond and be like, "Oh no, I don't want to know what happened."
Right. Like my boys all say, it's powdered sugar and rainbows since Disney has it.
Right. Hey, there were some deaths. I'm not gonna say who.
But I'm just joking around. Like he said, it's powdered sugar, rainbows.
I will say this, and I don't think it's a spoiler. Well, no, I don't think it's a spoiler because I mean, if you've seen the trailers, like you know what's gonna essentially happen.
Yeah.
You just don't know every detail of what's gonna happen. But I feel like J.J. Abrams watched Avengers Endgame.
I really liked it.
No, but I feel like he watched Avengers Endgame and was like, you know what? I like that part. I'm going to do something similar to that in the Star Wars movie. That's what I think he did.
Yeah.
You know, and I won't say what it is, but, you know, and no one's talked about it. No one's said anything about it. But there is one part in Rise of Jedi or Rise of Skywalker that I was like, that kind of reminds me of the scene with Cap. You know, and I was like, J.J. Abrams, I think, took that and he took that from Avengers Endgame and, you know, he did it his way. But what does it say right here?
Comic universe.
I have not seen it, but go right ahead and light my ears up. All right, so that's one approval.
Yeah.
Let's wait for a couple more approvals, and then
yeah.
we'll really dig
into. I just think it's funny. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I will say it's my favorite of the current trilogy.
Okay.
You know, so like 7, 8, 9. Out of 7, 8, 9, 9 is the best out of 7 and 8. Obviously, 7, like Last Jedi is
so
the
what's
worst.
your okay? This is a good topic. What's your least favorite Star Wars, and what's your most favorite Star Wars of the trilogy?
Least favorite Star Wars. I want to say Attack of the Clones.
I can see that. If they didn't have that,
it's very neck and neck. Attack of the Clones and Episode 1 is very neck and neck. Like Episode 1, the good things about Episode 1, Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
You know, and Darth Maul.
The
fight scene between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
You know, the bad things about Episode 1. Little kid Anakin was a little bit annoying, but nowhere near as annoying as Jar Jar Binks. Like Jar Jar Binks really just hurts that fucking film.
If there was no Jar Jar Binks, I think the movie would be a lot better off. Honestly,
absolutely. I remember hearing rumors that when Episode 1 came out, when they were releasing it on like DVD and VHS, I'm pretty sure they released it on VHS, because I have The Matrix on VHS.
Right.
You know, and that was the tail end of VHS. But no, I remember when Star Wars Episode 1 came out and the DVD was coming out, there was rumors and talks that somebody got they took the cut of the film and they re-edited it, and what they did was they edited out the majority of the Jar Jar Binks scenes. So the film was shorter, right? The film was shorter, less scenes. So it was a quicker watch. You know, the movie didn't drag out as long. You took out a lot of the Jar Jar Binks annoying parts, and then boom, you had a better Star Wars film. You know, so like, yes, I would love to see an edited version of Episode 1 with less Jar Jar. But I mean, these are all rumors. I don't know if they actually ever went through with it. If they did go through it, part of the rumor I heard was that George Lucas found out, was upset, and he immediately like shut that shit down super fast.
I would have, man, if I'm the guy that created the movie, and I see somebody actually took something of my idea to pull it out of it, I would.
Yeah.
William got something to say.
Yeah. I would. Okay, here comes some of the spoilers here. I would say 2 scenes copied Endgame, both at the end, a cavalry scene and specific dialogue. Dialogue? I don't know about dialogue, but you know, your memory might be more fresh on the film than mine. I only saw it once. If I had more money, I probably would go see it again.
Yeah, I only saw it once. I need to see it again, but I only saw it once. And it was like opening weekend. So
yeah. I'm part of the Disney Movie Club. And so like when you're part of the movie club, like there's a certain amount of movies that you have to purchase.
Yeah.
So I will definitely be purchasing that movie through the Disney Movie Club. And then after that, I think I have like one other movie I have to purchase, and then I'm free from, having to, because it was one of those deals like, hey, if you sign up, we'll send you like 5 movies for free, basically, or for like $5.
So same thing like when you had the CD thing, when 5 CDs for this.
Like those old CD deals from back in the day. Yeah. So like the Disney Movie Club did that. So I ended up getting like 5 movies.
Yeah.
I decided to get The Lone Ranger because, one, I like Johnny Depp, and I actually kind of enjoyed that film, especially the ending. I saw that movie in the movie theater, and like, yeah, there are parts of that film that dragged, and like one of the villains, kind of like he's technically supposed to be like the main villain. He really wasn't that great of a villain, But as the movie progresses, like when you get to the end of like The Lone Ranger, it's like, I like the theme, like when the main theme came on, I was like, oh shit, that's right. This was the Lone Ranger theme, and it was just beautiful. It was beautiful how they did it. Hey, what's up, Stay Puff?
Hey, Stay Puff.
Yeah, so I got the Lone Ranger. I got Oliver and Company because I remember as a kid, I don't recall watching that movie. I think I wanted to see it. I remember hearing the music for it, and the music was done by, gosh, what's his name? He plays the piano. It's not Elton John.
It's not the guy that plays the saxophone. I know that.
Was that Kenny G or something like that? No.
Yeah, I was thinking Kenny G, but it's not Kenny G.
Gosh, I can't. He was like married to a super hot model, Christy Brinkley.
Oh, damn it! Why can't I think of the guy's name?
Joel.
Rod Stewart.
No, it's not Rod Stewart.
No.
What?
That wasn't he married to Brinkley?
No, I don't think so.
He was married to some type of supermodel, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, supermodel that looked like Christy Brinkley. But...
maybe, yeah.
You're right. Billy Joel. There you go.
Billy Joel. Yeah. I get them confused.
It took me a minute, but it hit me.
Yeah. No, and then actually, William got it before you did.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that he posted it.
Yeah. It comes up slow. He got it before. We did.
We probably like thought of it at the same time.
Yeah.
But no, like Billy Joel did the music for Oliver and Company. I remember hearing some of the music for the animated feature, and I was just like, man, I like this, so I got that on Blu-ray. Still haven't watched it. I got to sit down and watch it. I really want to get the soundtrack. But there's Oliver and Company, Lone Ranger, Avengers,
Infinity War. Yeah, Infinity War. Yeah.
Yeah, Avengers: Infinity War. What else?
Endgame.
I ended up getting Endgame also, but it wasn't part of the 5 that I had to get, for like really cheap.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, what were the other 2? Oh, Big Hero 6.
Oh, yeah.
I got that.
I didn't even know that was a comic until I watched the movie and then looked it up. I'm like, oh, it's a comic?
Yeah, I remember that. It was a Marvel comic from the 90s.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Which, Marvel was so awesome in the 90s, man.
Yeah.
Like, I miss it. Like, there was some cool stuff. Like, Marvel was good in the 2000s because they had Ultimate. Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men. That's what made Marvel, like, really good in the 2000s.
Right.
But before the Ultimate Universe, there was a bunch of awesome, like, Marvel stuff in the 90s. Granted, most of the awesome stuff was the art. Like, the art was just really cool. I actually love the Marvel comics in the 90s. Like, when I first started picking up Marvel comics, they had, like, the gatefold, or not gatefold, but the interior fold in the cover.
Gatefold.
Yeah. And so, like, when you opened up the comic book, right, there'd be, like, a flap inside the front cover. And when you would unfold it, it would tell you previously what happened in the previous issue.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then it'd give you, like, a roster of, like, characters that are going to be in the story with their names. So, like, you're kind of, like, learning these characters even before you start reading the comic. Like, I missed that. That was so extremely helpful for me as a new fan, as a new, like, reader. And so when they did away with that, I was just like, I was bummed. I was like, this was such a cool way to, like, introduce readers to the books. Like, Marvel's like, look, the internet exists. People want to know, like, they want to know go look on Wikipedia or Marvel Wikipedia. Just go on there and look up who's in the comic or whatever. Like, they want to save money on, the covers and ink and whatever. Big Hero 6 premiered in the second Alpha Flight series. Very different from the movie. Yes, it's totally unrecognizable. Yeah. Like the Disney version is very much a revamped version of it, kiddie style. Like with its own world, like San Fran.
Powdered sugar and rainbows, like I said.
Yeah. My neck.
Yeah.
But no, Big Hero 6. I mean, I saw that in movie theaters, and very much like all the other Marvel films, we had a wonderful Stan Lee cameo.
Oh yeah, we did. I forgot about that. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I love that he was in it. Like, I wasn't expecting him to be in it, and it was such a very pleasant surprise. And the film was done really, really well. Like, the story was good, the animation was good. I think like, if
one of their better animated movies.
Yeah, I mean, if Marvel is smart, if they decide to take a break from doing the, when they finally officially end the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I mean, eventually it has to end. You know, it has to. There's two ways of this ending. You know, you either give it a definitive good ending and you say, okay, we're going to stop here, or they're going to keep making these Marvel films and making them until they're no longer box office successful films. They're going to keep making them until people are like,
the second one. I think your second one is that's what's going to happen.
Probably. Because like one of the problems I had about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that, you know, I felt like Thanos is like, to me, like one of the biggest villains of the Marvel universe, you know, and I felt like this is a great definitive ending. Like this is where you should end the series.
Right.
But they're like, you know, no, we want to keep doing sequels and we want to continue moving forward with the cinematic universe, you know. So it's like you've reached like Endgame is right here at the top, you know. All your other Marvel movies that are going to come out, they're not going to be anywhere near the top.
AJB.
You know, like you hit like the plateau, and now you're kind of you're just trailing down, you know, and you're gonna like somewhere like fizzle like around here, you know, where Endgame is here.
Right.
Like, will they ever make a movie as good as Endgame or better than that? Only time will tell, because now that they have the mutants, now they have Fantastic Four. Like, other than Thanos, like Doctor Doom, they have yet to like really do a good job on Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
And this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe's opportunity to make a badass Doctor Doom. And I've even heard a rumor that Michael Fassbender, who played Magneto, you know, he may end up playing as Victor Von Doom.
That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, he'd be great casting for Doom. He'd totally be great.
But who would you recast as all the mutants since he's not gonna?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's been talks of Taron Egerton as Wolverine. I like him as an actor. I'm willing to give him a shot as Wolverine. You know,
or the parody. I want to say a parody one of who everybody was saying. The guy from Sunny for Philadelphia, the older guy, the father.
Oh, Danny DeVito.
Yeah. I would want to see a parody.
He'd make like one film and then like he'd die.
Yeah. No, I just want to see one parody of him actually pretending to be. It would be kind of funny.
And put him in a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
He'll be like, I'm Wolverine.
Yeah. Alternate
Somebody
universe.
give me a soda.
Really alternate universe. Did you see the comedian that actually got in really good shape?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah,
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, but it was funny because the wife posted something on his page. I think on his page or on her page. Say he's still the same guy, and you see the cat sitting on his stomach, sitting on it. He's in shape, but you see the cat just sitting there, and he's playing video games.
You're right, yeah. No, he's a very funny guy.
Yeah.
I liked him in the movie Fist Fight.
Oh yeah.
With Ice Cube.
No, yeah.
He had what's his name? The guy from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Charlie Day.
Charlie Day. Yep.
Yeah. So he's in the movie, and he's like really worried about fighting Ice Cube's character.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And Kumail is like the security guard of the school, and he's like telling him like, "Look, man, I have like no muscle." He's like, "Okay, prove it to me." You know, he's like, "Flex." You know, so you see Charlie Day, and he's standing there, and he's like flexing, and like Kumail's like holding his arm.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Go ahead, flex." And he's like, "I am flexing," and he's like, "There's nothing there." Yeah, you know, and it's like this is his delivery, his performance. I was just like, he's so funny, man. Like I love him on Silicon Valley. Like they just ended the show,
right?
And dude, like that show blew him up, right. You know, his career up, you know, and now he made a very, very smart move to be in that Marvel film.
Yeah,
you know, so now that he's in the Marvel film, now that he's doing that, you know, he's going to get a lot more recognition. He's going to appear more, you know, and he can be doing all kinds of movies with Disney and with Marvel, and who knows, he could even show up in Star Wars, you know, like
Since I'm bringing it up, what do you think of that? What are you going to think? Are you thinking that Eternals is going to get a boost out of it in the comics? since this movie's
Oh,
come out?
I mean, every Marvel film, even the TV shows, like there is one absolute when it comes to Marvel,
Right.
they have a very, very strong and loyal fan base.
Right.
Their fan base is so strong and so loyal. Like these are people that these are the same. Like a lot of them are the same fans from the '90s. Like Marvel was so huge and so powerful in the '90s. Their fans were so dedicated and so loyal. I knew people when I worked at comic book stores and when I had my own store. I knew people who were such big Marvel fans that they refused to read anything else. I would tell them, hey, did you like this story? Like, yeah. So you like the artist? He's like, yeah. Well, that same artist is doing this Batman book. And they would just have that look on their face, like, yeah, I don't know. But I'm like, but you like this artist, So if you like this artist, clearly you would like this Batman book that the artist is drawing. And they're like, so dedicated to Marvel. Like, I don't want to read anything DC, And it's like, I hate that. Mm-hmm. Like everything. I'm a fan of, like, I know I bash on Marvel sometimes.
A lot of
but like, I love them all. Right. I if it's a comic book, regardless of the publisher, if it looks good to me, if the story sounds interesting, if the art looks good, I don't care what publisher you are. I'm going to want to look at it. I'm going to want to collect it. I'm going to want to add it to my collection. So the industry is definitely changing a lot. You and I were talking earlier about like artists, right?
Right.
And we were talking about like Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld, and I have this theory, right? Because technology has changed so much. We have social media now. We have technology. We even have Kickstarter. And so I wonder, like, had all of this existed in the '90s, would Image ever have been created?
I don't think so, because if they had Kickstarter back then and they had all this stuff back then, I don't think none of that stuff would be.
Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, all of these guys, they would have left.
Yeah.
They would have been doing Kickstarters. They would have been creating their own characters. Yeah. They would have been, they would have their own following, and they wouldn't band together and create this third publisher.
Yeah.
Which would inspire other people to create their own publishers, and and can you imagine, like, if Image didn't exist, would there even be a Walking Dead?
Nope. No, they would have, because
maybe
if Kirkman did it the same way they did and just kickstarted it, they may, but it might not have made it as big, though. I don't think.
No, I don't think it would have made it as big.
Yeah.
And who knows? Who knows how different the world would have been?
Yeah.
If the internet, Kickstarter, and social media, all of that.
The
internet didn't exist in the 90s, but if it was all advanced.
Oh yeah, or if it existed a little earlier, just a little earlier.
Yeah.
What would our universe, what would our...
And what really bugs me, man, is I hate when these publishers are like raising the cost of comics, right?
Oh yeah. The new year, they said it's going up to, what was it, 6 or 4 or something like that?
$4.99 probably.
Yeah, $4.99, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. Like, I think at least a minimum of every 10 years, they are trying to push it, right? Yeah. So when I was collecting comic books, I was buying comic books back when they were like between $2 and $2.50, right? They were like, originally they were $2, and then they bumped it up to $2.25.
Right.
Then they went $2.50.
Right.
Then instead of doing $2.75, they did like $2.95. So it jumped to $3, right? And then they even played around and played with the idea of doing $3.50. Right?
Right.
And then they just skipped $3.50 altogether and went to $3.99.
Right.
And of course DC, I admire for what they did. They kind of slowed things down, and they did the whole drawing the line at $2.99.
Yeah.
Because at this point, Marvel was already pushing for like $3.99.
Yeah.
And what happened was, when DC did the whole "we're drawing the line at $2.99," a lot of retailers were ordering more DC and ordering less Marvel.
Right.
You know, so like half of the books that Marvel had bumped up to $3.99, half of those books got dropped back down to $2.99 because they saw that the impact of sales. You know,
Yeah.
So, but the sad thing is, Marvel technically dictates
the market right now. Yeah.
Pricing.
Right.
They dictate pricing. They are always the first publisher to raise the prices on their books. You know, they're always the first ones. They were the first one to raise it to $2.99. They're the first one to raise it to $3.99.
Like the Marvel, like the Marvel 1000s, yeah, like those Marvel 1000s that are $8.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like
so, you know, so they keep pushing the price, and DC is the competing. You know, it's really just the top two publishers.
Yeah.
You know, so when you have like the editors over at DC, when they are, you know, when their bosses are like, hey, we noticed that Marvel raised their prices up $1. When are we doing it?
Right.
You know? And, you know, you can tell like the heads of DC are trying to be like, you know, let's slow things down. Like, this is going to hurt us. You know, this is going to, you know, less and less people are going to buy floppy issues, single issues. Those numbers are going to keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And eventually, one day, and maybe it'll be Marvel that does it, Marvel might just turn around and say, guess what? We're not going to do single issues anymore. We're just going to make original graphic novels.
Yeah. Or digital, or they'll go digital somehow.
No, because they're already doing digital now. And guess what? Their single issues sell more than their digital.
Everybody's actually, I found out, it's actually backwards for comics and book-wise. Books are outselling digital copies.
Yeah. So I want to give a shout out to Peter Samiti. He created Alterna Comics.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a small independent publisher who he works with other creative like writers and artists who basically are trying to independently create their own book, but he works with them, and what he does is he helps them publish the book, and he publishes it under the Alterna line.
Right.
None of them are ongoing; they're all miniseries. But here's the cool thing.
I like that. I like that how it's you know what, miniseries. What drives me crazy is what was it? The story is gonna be 12 issues, and then when it hits 12, let's go to 24 issues. That what drives me crazy is.
Well, I've never seen that. What I would see like, hey, we're doing an eight issue story run, and they decide, you know what, we're going to add an extra 1 or 2 issues to it. Like it'll be 9 or 10 issues.
Right.
You know, the publishers have a program. They have a set.
Right.
They know how many pages that they set up in the comics, and how many that they can use those pages to turn into a graphic novel. They already know that these single issues, when they come out, the way that they're structured, they already know that they're going to turn that into a graphic novel and sell it. You know?
Yeah.
It's just, man, I feel like Marvel is kind of just killing the, you know, and it's not all Marvel's fault. It's DC's fault for following in Marvel's footsteps. You know, instead of, you know, just having the balls to say, no, we're not going to raise our prices anymore. You go ahead and keep raising your prices. We're going to stay at this price. You know, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
You know, so, but anyways, Alterna Comics. So Peter puts these comics out at $1.99. Before they were like $1.50, I think.
Yeah, they were $1.50 originally. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's putting out comic books for $2, $1.99.
And it's old school newspaper print too. That's what I like.
Yeah, and you know what? I've looked through those books. I've seen the art on some of the stories. I've read through some of them, and the quality I think is solid. It's good. You know, if this guy can put out these books at $1.99, Marvel and DC can easily do that, but they're not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, they're not doing it. And then they wonder, why are we selling less and less comic books? Why are we selling less? Because the quality that you're putting out does not match the price.
right,
you have attached to it. It does.
Well, yeah, because if you notice, Marvel paper is cheap. If you notice, it feels like toilet paper almost. It's thin.
You know, there's some of these other publishers, man. Like, it got me thinking. Like, man, I wish I can just create my own ripoffs, my own superhero ripoffs of like Superman, Batman. Like, if I did all of that and had quality artists, and I was putting out books at like $2 a comic book, and people liked it, you know, then they would invest in it. They would buy it. They would read it. They would like it. You know. But we're talking like you would need tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
To even attempt to do that. Oh yeah, Marvel did it first when they had the Transformers go from a 4-issue mini to an 81-issue maxi series. Yeah. No, I mean I think what they did was they did a mini series, and then following the mini series, they did they just made an ongoing series. I think that's what they did.
Mm-hmm. What drives me nuts, like the Super Sons originally was only gonna be, what was it, a 12-issue mini, and it ended up going to 13 to 4, I think it went to 19 issues, I think, didn't it? Something like that.
No, because you had your Super Sons ongoing series, and then the series got canceled. They got a brand new number 1.
Oh yeah.
Super Sons. And what happened was, I think Pete Tomasi, who he's a fantastic writer. He's one of my favorite writers.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite too now.
Yeah, always delivers like quality writing. Like, he should be a big name, like up there with like Scott Snyder. But yeah, no. He mentioned like, hey, you love Super Sons. They'll be coming back for a 12-issue maxi series. So they did that. I'm just so sick and tired of like books like ending and restarting, and I'm so very thankful that DC decided to go back to original numbering with Action Comics and Detective Comics. If there's 2 books that you have to keep the original numberings to, it's those 2 series.
Right. Have you been reading Detective?
No, I've been picking it up, but then I finally stopped. Because comics are getting expensive, so I have to be more selective in what I get. Like I've actually been investing in getting like the DC Giant books, like like Flash Giant,
right.
The Batman Giant, because they got like the original stories in there with all the reprints. But I like that they have the original stories. I love the Giants. Like, if I could afford more of the Giants, like what I would love to do is go to like a couple businesses and ask them if they'd be interested in carrying comics in the store.
Right.
And I purchase like a spin rack, and then what I would do is I take those DC Giants and I would just stack the DC Giants on a spin rack at random stores, and then people, because I mean those books, like they're basically like mini graphic novels.
Right.
And I think they're selling for cover price at $5. So those are totally worth it.
Right.
Worth it for people who are new to comics, because it's like cool. Like, you're kind of like getting the best of, plus like an original story you can read through the Giant, and then the more you read through those, the more you realize, hey, maybe I want to start buying this or start collecting this, like I have a friend of mine at one of my jobs.
Randall, our special guest showed up.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Barbara.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi. Welcome. We're happy to have you here.
Happy to have you.
Yeah. Well, it's actually, you got me very intrigued what you were saying. So I'm sorry. I apologize for interrupting.
No.
So what's your point of view of this, of what we were just
talking about? At the end of it, so
we were just talking about how the prices are going up in 2020, like to $4, I think, right, Randall?
Yeah. Well, you were saying like in the beginning of the year, like apparently the prices are going to go up to $4.99,
right?
Which I'm not surprised at. It seems like their goal is within every 5 to 10 years they're going to raise the prices on comics, and it's ridiculous, And then they throw in like, oh well, we're adding like 3 pages or 4 extra pages, so it'll be totally worth that extra dollar you're paying for. And I'm like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, that's like Marvel Comics 1000 saying, hey, we're going to pay, what, $9.99 for this comic for one page of every artist going into it? Yeah.
It's like
it has a billion covers on top of that.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, it's like, if you're going to do that, just make a graphic novel.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was just telling Jeff, like, I fear that it's killing the industry, and I think they keep pushing and pushing, and they're trying to see how far they can get until they realize, like, hey, like, because what's the one comic book that's selling the most now? Like, what's the average number printed? Like, I think 100,000 copies tops, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Notice that the variants are going up. So your regular A cover will go from $3.99, and then the variants will go up to $4.99.
Oh yeah, you mean through DC?
Through DC, and I mean even Marvel does it.
Well, no, because the Marvel's variants are the retail incentives. Like, you have to order 20 copies to get just one copy.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
like their cover
more like the stores than they are the consumer at that point, but they're still doing the same concept.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, Marvel takes advantage of retailers. They'll say, hey, in order for you to qualify for this book, you have to order 300% more copies of this from, I don't know. It's fucking like it's like a fucking puzzle, like I'm not Tom Hanks and, that one movie, the Angels and Demons or whatever, like I'm sitting there like trying to do the math, like A Beautiful Mind or something like that, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to qualify for this variant, so like, fuck it, I'm not going to order this book.
Yeah.
But like Marvel, I feel like they take advantage of retailers, and that's why, like, I think it's cool at DC when they're doing their variants. Like, their variants are order all you want. We know that there are people out there that like to collect really cool looking covers and cover art. That's why they have specific artists doing those variant covers. So it's cool. Like, any retailer can order it. They don't have to sit there and be like, great, I have to order 100 copies of a shitty book just to get one really cool looking variant. DC will occasionally do that. Like, I know they did that with the Dark Knight Golden Child. They had like a 1 in 10. Are you familiar with any of the orderings, Barbara, with when it comes to the diamond orders?
Yeah, I have like a somewhat familiarization with those, but I really don't order that many books.
Well, let me let the guys know in the chat. If you guys didn't know, Barbara works for comics and stuff, or she's actually one of the retailers, or considered retailer.
Yeah.
Okay, and then she used to work there, and then she used to work for Bull Street before Bull Street closed. So yeah, just to let you guys know. So let's introduce Barbara a little bit to people, so to let people know who she is and what she's about. So I'm gonna put it on you, so just to let them know who you are. So
I mean, I don't know about Bull Street. I try to really get him on his variant game, but Justin's Justin. And he did a really good job running the store. But I mean, comics and stuff is where it's at. If you're going to get your variants and stuff, they do a really good job ordering variants. But yeah, then again, the prices do go up, so it's kind of hard to get these certain variants. Like what I was trying to order, Deja Thoris, the Adam Hughes variant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was just pretty difficult because I really wanted that Adam Hughes, but they just couldn't order enough because how many people order that comic?
Right.
That's the only issue with that. That's the only problem with it is if it's an incentive, it's either 1 in 50, 1 in 10, or 1 in 100.
Speaking of incentives, I wanted to show this off.
Uh-oh.
I was able to get the
Hold on, Randall. I'll make you bigger so you can show it off better. Right now.
Nope, didn't work.
Didn't work? Hold on.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
So I got this really awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 100. This is the Kevin Eastman and Paul Laird retailer incentive. This was you had to get 50 copies of 100 just to get one of these.
Oh wow.
So, yeah. So Peter Laird hasn't worked with Kevin Eastman in a very long time.
Yep.
And so for like all the hardcore Ninja Turtles fans, those two names, those are the guys who literally created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the original comics, which later on became animated series, huge merchandising, action figure collections, live action film. And so Peter Laird kind of just stepped out of the light, and Kevin Eastman's kind of like, well, they sold it to Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon owns it now
for a crap ton.
Oh yeah, I mean those guys they're doing well. They're doing well, and but it's cool that Kevin Eastman is still involved with the comics, and then him and Peter Laird kind of just like rekindled their friendship. And so for like the hardcore Turtles fans, I have several customers of mine, like friends of mine, that are like, "Can you get this book?" And I said yes and no. I told them, it's a possibility. It can happen, but it all depends on how badly you want it. I made deals with them for I told them, listen, if you order 25 copies of the regular issue, or if you order this or order that, I'll hook you up with a really great discount, at cost, and that way you can get that variant. So I hooked them up. And so I managed to, I must have had to have ordered like 150 copies.
Did you get rid of all 150 copies?
150 copies, yes. It was a big diamond order for me. But because this is like an $8 book, I think. It's like an $8 book.
Like I said, did you get rid of all 150 copies?
Oh, did I get rid of? Of course I did.
Okay.
Everyone came through. Oh, wow. Everyone came through and they bought their books like they should have.
Okay.
And so we got in these great variants.
Oh yeah.
So since we got everybody here, I said our topic was going to be our favorite 2000s and 2019 through 2019 artists, cover artists who who's your guys' favorite. I can guess what Barbara's are. Well, a couple of Barbara.
You can get. Why don't you let her tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll let her. She already knows.
Yeah. I already know. I already kind of know, and we probably got similar taste. That's probably why.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I talked about Jenny Frison way too much today.
Hold on. I got a Frison cover here, so we can we could actually do that.
I swear, you must have like a special Barbara stack.
No, I may. Yeah. like this one. This is a early Frison.
Oh man, that's one I've been looking for as well, because her Red Sonja covers have been really hard to track down, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That is sick, though. Her and her Vampirella covers are just pretty hard to get.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I almost have 30 Wonder Woman covers.
Already? Oh wow! So you are a super Jenny Frison fan.
I told you.
She's incredible, hands down. Especially after the Weird World variant that I showed you. It's a woman riding a dinosaur with the magic hands. Like, who wouldn't love that?
So, what was it about Jenny Frison that got you into collecting her? Like, do you remember what's your earliest memory of a book that you're like, I like this artist and I want to start getting all of her work?
Hex Wives.
Okay.
Yeah. She did a variant to Hex Wives 1, and it was something a friend of mine recommended, and I absolutely loved it, and that was the only color available. And I just looked at the cover and I'm like, this is beautiful.
Nice.
This is stunning. And the series itself, it's great for girls.
What is it about? I'm not familiar with it.
It's about a group of witches that throughout the centuries have great magic powers, and there's this group of guys that go against them, and the women reincarnate themselves, but the guys do it throughout the generations. So throughout the generations, these guys have continuously tried to destroy them. Okay. Well, eventually they marry them. They figure out how to erase their memories and marry them, and it's them slowly trying to get their memories back.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty cool because the first woman to get her memories back accidentally kills a cat, and then realize, oh shit, we're trapped, and figures out how to get away from them.
Wow, wow. That sounds like it could be like maybe like a CW series. Like I don't know if you ever watched Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of Vampire Diaries here and there.
Yeah, like I don't, you know, I don't know if it's the same kind of style, but like just hearing you describe it, I'm just like I can already see parts of it. Like I'm going to CW this fall, you know, like
maybe keep all the lovey-dovey stuff out of it, and I'd be cool with it.
Okay.
I got another artist that I've been liking, Eric Basaluda, Ebas. Like this, like this 50 what was it, Batman 50 issue, the marriage issue.
Oh yeah, Batman and Catwoman getting married. Yeah.
Oh, with the new outfit.
Yep, with the new with her dress. Yep.
Yeah, I instantly bought that cover just for that. And like she had the front cover kind of had like an inlay into it, where it had a regular cover, and then the outside just showed that stunning new outfit, and I'm in love with Catwoman all over again.
Oh, nice. I became a big fan. Well, not big fan. I became a fan of Catwoman when in the 90s. I don't know if you're familiar with the artist. Jeff, help me. You might remember the artist's name. The guy who did Catwoman in the 90s.
Jim Balent.
Yes, Jim Balent.
Yeah.
And so like the way he drew Catwoman, like she was just like tall. She was tall. She looked kind of like
in her catsuit, in her purple catsuit,
you know, and like badass, like, you know, like tight purple suit, long black hair. And I was just like, oh my God, you know, like I don't know if you're familiar with any of that.
I know Barbara would like this
not, but I was just literally drooling over Adam Hughes, Catwoman.
Yeah. Oh no, Adam Hughes is beautiful, always beautiful work. Like I don't know what happened, like just out of nowhere, people were just like collecting his covers, and all of a sudden his covers just became hot, like for collecting. You know, it's been like that for at least the past 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
Really? I just got into Fairest, and that's what really got me into Adam Hughes. Fairest did a really good Red Sonja, Vampirella meets I'm sorry. It was someone meets Betty and Veronica.
Poison Ivy
and Poison Ivy meets Betty and Veronica cover, and it was just so beautiful. I didn't give two shits about it, but it was just right in front of my face for probably 3 weeks, and I'm just like falling in love with that cover.
Yeah.
I had to buy it.
And now I own it. The Adam Hughes one for that series?
Yes.
Okay, I have to check that one out. I don't remember what it looks like.
It's basically Poison Ivy. It's like they're like in prison doing some kind of photo for the police department, and they're just being complete badasses.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much a spin-off of Fables.
Okay, spin-off of Fables, yeah.
But Fables also has like 146 issues, which I really don't like when they do it that long.
You mean for Fables?
For Fables, yeah. And I was thinking about collecting their issues, but I mean, 146 issues is honestly just a little too much for me.
And then you're a lot more.
At that point, I got the books. So I do own Volume 1 and Volume 2, but Volume 1 and Volume 2 are like this thick.
Oh, yeah. You got like the deluxe editions probably.
I did. Thank you. Great.
Oh, yeah. I bought like a reprint, like one of those like dollar issue reprints of like Fables #1, and I remember reading through it. And one of the things I think when I was like first collecting, like I was always like, for me, I think at first it was art and then story, and then somewhere along the line story became more important than art. And so, but I remember looking through the art for Fables, and I didn't feel impressed, because Vertigo has always had like this independent, like different look, different style. So when I saw the art, I was just like, it looked, you know, like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like awesome enough for me to be like, oh, I got to check this out, you know? So I kind of discarded it. But then I hear more and more, because it's, I think, Brian K. Vaughan that wrote Fables, right?
No.
I'm not sure yet.
No,
so I've gotten a ridiculous amount of trade books because of the giant sale that they had. I am like now 2 diamond boxes full of trade books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it adds up. It adds up really quick and really fast sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, they were selling about hardcovers $4 a piece, soft covers $1 a piece.
Yeah.
I remember. Yep.
Yeah.
I thought Barbara would like this one. It's Eric Basaluda. Ebas is a Vampirella cover from 2000s. I actually found this at Nerd Out. Some guy actually walked in with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You stole it from him, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I gave him $20. I gave him $20 for it, and it goes for like $60 online. So.
Oh, wow, nice.
That's actually So when he left, I for some reason decided to look up Star Wars #1 because I really wanted to buy it, and I saw it on the shelf for $7.99. So I bought it, and I actually kind of have to sell it now because it's going for $60.
Yeah.
Even in crap condition, it's still going for $60.
Yeah. Hey.
Are you talking about like the Star Wars #1, like Marvel, like 1977?
Yeah. I know the issue she's talking about too. I picked it up the same. I picked it up and thought about it the same thing. I'm like,
did you really?
Yeah, I go. Barbara's gonna end up picking this up. I bet you anything.
I've always wanted to pick it up. I've seen it around Bull Street, and I'm like, I ended up buying Dark Empire 1 and 2, the whole run, but never ever picked up Star Wars #1 from Marvel.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were.
Some hankering in me decided to like look at it, and I just couldn't believe how much it's gone up because of the movie.
Yeah, but I laughed because I looked right at it. I'm like, I bet you anything, Barbara's gonna end up picking this up after I leave. Yeah, I called it. Yeah, and then another artist that I've been liking is wow, I always get his name mixed up. Mike Mayhew. Like this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. The Marilyn Monroe
is beautiful no matter what to me, though.
Yeah, and me. So yeah. So thought you guys might want to see this. Yeah. So he's one of my favorites. One of my favorite artists. Not just because of Vampirella stuff, but all kinds of other art that he's done. He's done Star Wars too. So. Yep.
Would you say that Mayhew has sort of a similar style to like Adam Hughes?
Kinda. I think they're similar.
The face. I feel like the face really like tells them apart. Like we just had a whole conversation about this.
Yeah. Over that.
Too much where I think it has a classic Renaissance feel to it.
Yeah.
That's why I really love him though.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about that Gwen Stacy one because the Gwen Stacy, I think her face looks really fugly. Like she put a certain face on her, and I'm like, eh. Then she's
only gonna do well because Adam Hughes did the covers.
Yeah, and then she showed me the other cover that's against Adam Hughes cover. I go, I would still pick the Adam Hughes cover over the other one. The other one was worse. Yeah.
For which series is this?
This is the new series coming out, Gwen Stacy.
Oh, yeah. I think I ended up ordering the J. Scott Campbell cover. Just because I love J. Scott Campbell's art and, obviously the way he draws women. And, I mean, some of his Spider-Man covers, like when he draws like Black Cat.
Oh, are you kidding me? I only collected Black Cat because of J. Scott Campbell.
Yeah, well, that book was...
This really read Black Cat, even for me, it's
hot garbage. It's hot garbage.
It's not worth what you're paying for, right?
Nope. Covers. That's the only reason they did the covers that way.
Her attitude is just a little too much.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I never read the Amazing Mary Jane.
Yeah. I mean.
Just trying to appeal to women way too hard where they're overdoing it.
I agree. I mean, I think that's one of the strengths that DC has is that they have a lot of these really interesting female characters that have been around for years, and they've kind of like evolved them and developed them character-wise. And Marvel's got a lot of them too, but they it didn't feel like they kind of like grew those characters like the way DC has. It felt like Marvel was always more focused on like, whatever they thought was popular.
Exactly. I feel like they could have made Mary Jane a really strong woman, but instead I feel like they made her more of a stuck-up bitch. And I love Gwen Stacy, and I'm really worried about this new series.
Oh, really? Did you ever read Spider-Man Blue?
No, I have not.
You should read that. Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale, when those two guys work together, it's gold. Always gold. Like Batman Long Halloween, Batman Dark Victory, Spider-Man Blue, Hulk Gray,
Daredevil Yellow. On my list for sure.
Yeah.
I should have had the trade book when I had the chance.
Spider-Man Blue is great because it's Peter reminiscing his memories of Gwen. And he's with Mary Jane, and like I think he's like in an attic or he's in a room and he's kind of like going through a box of like pictures and memories.
Gwen Stacy was his first love. If you actually look into it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why, like, when I was picking up Spider-Man, I didn't know who Gwen Stacy was, and I was picking it up like most people in the '90s. It was Mary Jane. It was always Mary Jane, and so when they mentioned like Gwen Stacy, and then like Wizard Magazine was around, so they would kind of like do like backstory, like information, like updates, like letting fans know, like, death of Gwen Stacy and who Gwen Stacy was, and the cool thing about the Spider-Man Blue. The Marvel stories that Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale did, it's the color scheme is supposed to represent emotion. So like when they did Daredevil Yellow was supposed to represent fear, and like Daredevil's like the man without fear. And so when they did Spider-Man Blue, it's because Spider-Man is sad. And he's sad because he's dealing with the loss of Gwen Stacy, and moving on in life. And then Hulk Gray, it's dealing with the mixed emotions, of him being the Hulk and Bruce Banner and stuff like that. So like it's kind of cool, like how they titled it with colors, the color scheme, but it was really supposed to be a reflection of the emotion, like the emotional aspect of what the story is representing. So it's really cool. I ended up getting like a deluxe edition, like a collected edition. I got lucky. Like Marvel had one of their discount sales. They were doing I forget the term, liquidation. They're doing like a liquidation sale. So like I was able to get it for like 70% off or 60% off. It's a great hardcover. It's got all the stories in it. But yeah, if you love Gwen Stacy, like it's a beautiful like remembrance, almost like a love letter to Gwen Stacy in a Spider-Man story.
Okay, well I might need to pick up that whole collection over at Comics and Stuff then.
Yeah, definitely.
Star Wars to the whole like sets section. I'm like, oh man, I almost picked up that whole series like probably like 10 times already.
Which one?
Spider-Man Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Art in it. I just didn't know it would be a good story. And that's what I really worry about, because every time I pick something for good art, it turns out to be a crap story. So
that's you just described the 90s.
Yeah. The bad girl days, the 90s bad girls covers, and then crap stories.
Yeah. I mean, they still do it now, but it's just not as quality is definitely improved a lot more now than it has, since like the 90s and 80s. What's that one book that you keep saying is just total crap, Jeff? Like the White Widow or something like that?
Well, yeah, White Widow, total shit show.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. It's a total shit show.
That's one of my collection I've been dying to read, but it does kind of look like a boob book. So
if you read it, you're gonna go, what the hell? It's missing. Like the first issue, you're missing story. It's like, what the hell? It's like,
oh, okay. See, I like a good boob book with a good story.
Yeah, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's hard. Like a boob book with a good story.
I can't think. Okay, I actually can think of one. I think, but I'm not sure.
What's the trade book I was just literally reading about Red Sonja?
Oh yeah.
But like the third page, she's like, I hate the cold. The cold makes your body really slow. But then again, she's going to get some Juggernaut and stabs him right in the dick.
Wow.
So,
Going hardcore.
A good boob book with a good story.
Oh, they should have done like a special variant for that. The Lorena Bobbitt variant, you know, where cutting it right off.
I don't think they're a good seller since most of the collectors are male anyway.
Yeah.
And then I got another one that she might like. It's a Ben Oliver cover, a New York Comic Con exclusive.
I'm gonna say I do love Ben. I've actually been eyeing that one.
Ah, good to know. Good to know. So
yeah,
I think that's my life.
Vampirella, I've definitely been eyeing him.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, I only read, unfortunately, the first two, and love it.
Mm-hmm.
From the very first one, I thought it was amazing. I love how the old woman is kind of telling a story to her granddaughter, and it kind of like went with the flow of it.
Yeah, because that one, and then there's a lot of vampy stories. It's just like she's been around for 50 years, man. Like, what you guys expect? They're gonna have crap stories and good ones.
So, okay, if you could choose a Vampirella team up story, like what character would you like to see Vampirella team up with? Doesn't matter, any publisher, any character.
I'll let Barbara go first.
I don't know. I've been slowly collecting the Red Sonja Vampirella meets Betty and Veronica. Unfortunately, I just haven't collected the right amount to start reading it because I'm kind of one of those people that like I need at least the first 3 to start reading.
Yeah.
And I'm stuck on number 2.
Okay.
So
I picked those up because I just really like Dan Parent's, Archie style covers. Like it's cool to see like an Archie version of Vampirella and Red Sonja.
Yeah.
With Betty and Veronica. I'm like, this is cool. I like it.
I mean, I've been looking at a cover price for see which covers I like because I don't really care about the A cover or the B cover or whatever. I'm gonna pick whatever variant I like that goes with my collection, and sometimes it's that one, sometimes it's a different one, but they're all honestly stunningly beautiful. That's the one run I have a really hard time picking a favorite variant for.
Okay.
I mean, you also can't go wrong with Red Sonja and Vampirella.
Well, you said anything that's team up, right, Randall? That's what you were asking?
Any character. So, like, if you were like, I want Vampirella to team up with Deadpool.
That'd be kind of interesting. That would be, but the one I really want to see is your character, Superman. I actually want to see her with Superman to see what that would be like.
I just picture like Superman taking off his cape and he's like, "Here you go, miss." Like,
Did you not do that with Wonder Woman though? Isn't there a lot of team ups with Superman and Wonder Woman?
I mean, there was a really cool series. Charles Soule was writing it. There was a Superman Wonder Woman series where they were just like the 2 main characters, almost like how they do like the Superman Batman.
Yeah.
Where they're like each issue they're teaming up. They did that with Wonder Woman. Trying to remember who the artist was on that. The art was really good.
I know I have the Future's End particular variant for that one.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I right now have 20 fucking boxes of comics right now, just mixed matched everywhere.
Got to work on organizing them, right, and figuring out like what to read.
Right now, they're all into cover price, and I finally just finished that. So now it's at the point where like, okay, and I just don't trust anyone to touch my comics either.
So what series that's out right now that you're like, this has to be the first book I read every time it comes out?
What, Die and Once and Future? It's
okay.
Kind of like a tie between those two for sure.
I've heard a lot of good things about Die. Once and Future, I mean, I picked that up just because Dan Moore is doing the art.
Yeah, Once and Future for me too.
I mean, the art is stunning, but I mean, come on, it's King Arthur seen in a different point of view.
Yeah.
That you just described Aquaman to me.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
No, because if you like the whole King Arthur premise, like there was some cool stuff that they did with the Aquaman issues, especially in the 90s. You had like Peter David. Like they played up on the whole, because his name is Arthur as well, and like he's like the king of Atlantis, so he is King Arthur. So they tried taking like elements of King Arthur and replicating that within that character in the comics. And I thought there were some really cool aspects that they did with that.
Oh, that actually sounds pretty awesome. So I've never been a huge Aquaman fan.
Yeah.
But since you said that, I'm gonna have to pick up that run.
Yeah, Peter David did his run in the 90s. This is when he had lost the hand. He got the hook hand. And I don't know if you have DC Universe, but if you have DC Universe, like the streaming app, if you have a tablet, because DC Universe apparently has over 25,000 DC comics that you can read digitally. And I think they have like almost that entire Aquaman run on the DC.
Is that included in your streaming service?
Yeah.
Yep. You can read them all on your streaming service. Yep.
I'm going to have to get on that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just shows.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's Harley Quinn, but they have the Harley Quinn animated series, and that has been freaking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So my boss, Red, from Big Red Vintage Toys, has said nothing but great things about it. And he's not the biggest fan of Harley Quinn, but he said it's just such good adult humor.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I know Red, and Red is super picky. Super picky.
Yeah. But picky for a good reason.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, he knows what he likes, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, it's really hard to gauge what he likes versus what you like. You know?
So when he said like the new Harley Quinn series, I was like, really?
Right. Anytime he likes something, that is my reaction. Really? You know, like,
me too.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you like this.
Mm-hmm. I got another artist that she might like. It is Don Mateague.
Oh yeah, Don. She does really good work too.
Yeah, Don Mateague, and then this was a Kickstarter
on that one because the actual looks pretty badass.
Yeah, it's actually a Kickstarter. It's actually a Kickstarter cover. It's actually gemstones in her. Yeah.
That is yeah, I've seen. I used to work over at
CBS. Magic, actually. Yep. Ileana.
Mm-hmm. It looks a little like it too. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of does.
What's funny is like some of those books I don't think can be graded because of that.
Yeah, because of the gem. I already asked. Yeah, they got a couple of guys.
The case, it damages it, and then like the book itself getting damaged as well.
Yep. I already asked them too. They said it's gonna damage the book because they're worried about the gems pressing it down into the book. When they compress it, they're worried about the case compressing it into the book. So
wouldn't it be cool if they can make it to where you can actually just remove the gem? Yeah, you can put it back on and remove it anytime you want. You know.
Yeah, but you know how irritating that would be. You remove it and then end up losing one.
Right. Some people would just immediately just wrap it up in bags and boards twice and just stuff it in the corner.
Actually, I got to meet her. I met her twice. I met Dawn twice. I met her at MegaCon and then I met her at Yancey Street South the one time.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a good question. What artist do you like that you've never met? Would you like to meet?
I got hers, I think, but let's see what she says.
I don't know. Between obviously Jenny Friesen and Terry Dodson.
Oh, Terry Dodson, yeah.
Yeah, he's just surprising. Like, and not everything is a hit for me, but a majority of it is. And when it's a hit, it's just like love.
Yeah, I almost feel like Terry Dodson, and like I don't want to say this like in a mean way, but like he's almost like the poor man's Adam Hughes.
I can see that.
Yeah. Like I remember he did the Spider-Man Black Cat. Huh?
He kind of just throwing his own style with it.
Oh, you have to. You have to, because if he didn't, he would like literally be like a ripoff. I remember he did this Kevin Smith comic, the Spider-Man Black Cat.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
I don't think to this day they never finished that comic book story.
Yep.
Like Kevin Smith is notorious for doing that. Like he did like a Daredevil issue. He did like one issue, and he never finished the story. And people keep asking him like, "Hey, are you ever going to finish it?"
Well, let's say what I'm gonna say. What's up to the chat real quick? What's up, Perry? What's up, Second Street Marvel? How you guys doing today? We have Randall here, and we have Barbara, actually. So we're just talking. We're just bullshitting, talking about stuff, whatever we want, pretty much favorite artist and what we were, what our interests are, pretty much.
Yeah. All right. So your turn, Jeff. Like, what artist that you haven't met that you'd like to meet?
Alex Ross.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, Alex Ross.
That's one.
Yeah, Alex Ross is one. Let's see, who's another one? I already met Perillo, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Old school artist Saint Julian from the old school Vampirella covers, the Saint Julian covers.
Okay.
Yeah, that one I wouldn't mind meeting. Yeah. Yeah, those are pretty much the two that I really want to meet.
Yeah, man. Like, it's strange. It's strange how like certain people, like certain like artists and writers, they never appear like in certain places, certain areas.
All right.
Like you literally have to fly out to like a completely different state, fly all the way out somewhere just to meet them, and like get pictures with them and signatures and stuff like that.
Yeah, hopefully I get to your level and get on that whole convention game, which hopefully I'm doing this year.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it just sucks that everything costs money. I wish everything was free.
Well, the reason why Bull Street closed down is because he really wanted to go into the whole online business and conventions only.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Justin telling me that.
He went to Florida SuperCon, MegaCon. So I'll probably whoop his ass a little to make sure he gets there.
That's cool. I would love it, like, if in the next 5 years I can get to a point where I'm doing like all the big conventions across the U.S.
Dude, the tables itself cost like $1,000 a piece, or more than $1,000 a piece. Yeah, the big ones, the big tables.
But I mean, if you bring enough product and you sell enough product, you make your money back and you make a small profit or a large profit, depending on what you have and how well you sell it.
Yeah, and how well you pull people in. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is, like, some of these conventions, they're turning into like pop culture conventions.
Yeah.
So there are people there that are primarily there for like the guests, like the celebrities. So sometimes, like imagine trying to sell comic books at
Spooky Empire. Yeah.
Like when you go to that convention and you see how many people are there, and you kind of like see where everyone's lined up, and you see what people are interested in and what they're not interested in. Like I talked to this nice girl who was like selling like, art prints. And she was like, yeah, me and my mom, like, we're from Tennessee. So I was like, wow, you guys drove all the way from Tennessee for this? And they're like, yep. And there weren't too many people at their booth, So it's like, sometimes, people are going to take a loss working some of those conventions,
Yeah.
I mean, hardcore fans will stick with it.
Yeah.
I met this woman who literally had a knee problem and waited 2 hours to see Jason Momoa. So she will stick with it.
I think there's a lot of women that will want to meet Jason Momoa. I got to see him in person, and
the funny picture. He's all right.
Yeah.
I would wait 3 hours for Jenny Freeson. Let's be real here.
Oh yeah. Like who did I wait? I think Jeff Johns. When Jeff Johns was in MegaCon, I was like immediately was like, I have to meet this guy. Like, he's one of my all-time favorite writers.
That's another one that I wanted to meet, because he's the one that got me back in the comics too.
Jeff Johns? Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the one of the ones that got me back into it.
So many of the things that he did for DC Comics, like, that was my dream. Like, no, I'm gonna make Aquaman popular. Like, you go ahead and you make Aquaman in the top 10 selling comic books with New 52. And I'm like, I don't think I can top that. I'm like, he beat me to it. But no, when I got to meet him, there was a super long line. And one of the things that I hated was, like, you could tell, like, the first, like, 5-10 people, they had, like, boxes and milk carts full of like comics for just Jeff to sign, and you had other people in line that had like maybe 10 books or 5 books, and I only had like 3 books for him to sign.
See,
and
I thought that was bad etiquette.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then the sad thing too is like if I were Jeff, I would have been like, listen, guys, I appreciate how big of a fan you guys are, because he wasn't charging for signatures.
Oh, okay.
This was all free.
Still, yeah, it makes it even
worse. He should have been like, listen, man, that's a lot. I'll do like 1/3 of your stack, and then you got to move the line along. I felt bad because I was literally at the tail end. Like, I wasn't at the end of the line, but I was one of the last few people to get something signed by Geoff Johns before Johns was like, sorry, guys, I'm done for the day. And he had to go like do panels. And then after the panels, he was off to Disney World or whatever, Disney World. And so I just felt bad for like, there must have been at least 50 to 75 people behind me that were like hoping to meet Geoff Johns and get a signature. And they weren't able to do it because 5 douchebags brought like 500 to 1,000 comic books for short like
that's what they did with Donny Cates, man. The guy brought a whole short box. Oh, I'm doing it for what is it? He was doing it for kids with cancer type stuff. You know, that's what his excuse was.
Oh yeah,
I don't believe it, but
if that dude's lying, there's a special hell for him.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah, so some stuff, and then, but at least Donnie's manager saw how many books he had. He goes, look, you got this many. Well, let's get the line moving, and then we'll sign you towards the end or right. Whenever, you know. We'll set a time.
And the real dick move, like, sorry, man, we're out of time. We can't sign your books. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. That dude's like super pissed.
Yeah, but the Ryan Stegman, I got to meet him in Orlando Toy and Comic Con. He ran late, but it was cool that he ran late. But he gave us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, I love his art. Yeah. Ryan Stegman's very cool.
Oh yeah, I actually had that problem with was it Takashi? He was the artist for Ghost Spider.
Okay.
Everyone else had their price up for their signatures and their art, and I really, really wanted my blank done by him, but I just wish I would have warned it was $100. And then
right.
When I finally came up with enough money, because my sister was going to be nice enough to pay for my birthday, he left early.
I hate when that happens too. Like, yeah. Like they just leave whenever they feel like leaving. It's like, and here's the funny thing too, is like the sad thing is like they do commissions at these cons, but deep down they really don't want to do those commissions. They just want to enjoy themselves at the convention, you know? And it's like, if you see them like working hard doing commissions, either they have big plans and they're like, I need that money, or they're struggling and they're like, yeah, you know, because there's artists that will like literally like, how much does it suck? Like they, you know, they go to, well, I mean, I'm sure their flights are paid for, their hotel is paid for, depending on the artist and writer. But like the real popular ones, like their stuff's paid for, so they didn't have to pay anything to get there. And then they're thinking like, you know, cool, yeah, I'll show up to the convention. After the convention, I can get to just relax and enjoy myself. But some of those artists, they rack up so many commissions that they end up like, as soon as the convention's over, they go back to the hotel and they're literally just drawing those commissions all night long. And then they, you know, wake up the next day back at the convention, drawing more, signing more. It's like sometimes I feel like when they go to these conventions, it's like legit work for them. Like they don't really get to like relax and like, you know,
I mean,
go, you know, walk around and have fun and talk and stuff like that, you know.
Isn't that the name of the game though?
No, I think the name of the game is to make money, I suppose. But like,
I mean, your fans make your money. Yeah. I know it kind of sucks to say, and I do, you know, feel for them.
Yeah. What they should do, and I know some artists will do this, they'll take your blank, they'll take the commission, they'll do the commission work, but then what they'll do is they'll say, okay, well, I'm going to take this back home to my studio, I'm going to do the commission, and then when I'm done, I'm going to mail it to you.
Yeah.
You know, like I know
a couple of them.
Hotz did too when I went to go see him at Yancey Street. Because I had Absolute Carnage blank that I wanted to get done, but he actually had too much on his plate where he was like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
So I respected that. At least he knew where his limits were.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I mean, that's that creative freedom. It's the, you know, like they literally can do whatever they want. They can say, they can even change their mind and say, sorry, I'm not going to do your commission. Here's your money back. Here's your stuff back. Sorry. Have a nice day. You know, like
they're human.
Yeah, of course.
One of the friends had one done that he wanted Spider-Man 2099, and the guy screwed. I forgot which artist this was. He screwed up, and then the guy just used a marker and colored a big black spot like right in the middle of the thing. like you're like, what the hell is that? And then the friend just colored it in, and it made it look a lot better. Yeah, colored it in, and then he sketched the little coat on him, and then it made him look better.
This was like a blank cover.
Yeah, a blank cover, and I forgot the artist name that did it, but
yeah,
he did it, but he screwed up, and he was drawing Peter. He wasn't drawing 2099 Spider-Man.
Oh, Miguel. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so he screwed up, but he
could just draw like a thin mustache on Peter.
No. Randall, the big black spots behind the character. It wasn't in front of it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like he was trying to cover it
over,
up.
and he just like blocked that out or whatever.
Yeah, he tried to cover something up.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I got another one that she was mentioning, Mark Brooks.
Let me see Mark Brooks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, I've been picking up Mark Brooks's art since like early 2000s.
Yeah. I met him. Yeah, he was actually nice.
That's
really nice. Yeah. I met him at MegaCon. He was really nice, and he had a. Yeah, I didn't know he had a Asian wife. That's where his logo comes from.
Oh yeah, because it looks like a
yeah, like a stamp.
No offense for such a white name. I thought it was pretty cool that kind of Asian symbol.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome when he incorporates his wife into that.
Yeah. Well, let me show off some comics since everyone's showing off some comics too.
Okay.
This just randomly came across. I love the cartoon series. I actually kind of wish like Marvel and DC would go back to like doing some licensed books, like licensing. Like we got the
Sorry, my niece.
Oh, it's okay.
It's okay.
So I got King Arthur.
Hold on, I'll make it bigger.
From the cartoon series.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is like a 3-issue series. Like I really loved this cartoon series. I love the premise of it. I felt like if they did sort of like a modern take on this, like it'd be cool. Like they did magic in this, you know. Like I love the Harry Potter films, and so I thought it'd be cool. Like, wouldn't it be cool to see sort of like a modern King Arthur series, but using like the magic, you know, like styles of like Harry Potter, you know. So like in the King Arthur Knights of Justice, like he had a shield, and there was a dragon on the shield, and at one point he could summon the dragon out of the shield, so the dragon would come out of the shield and start like attacking like a bunch of the bad guys. And I was just like, that would be so cool to see in a movie, you know, like
that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And I mean, you can't have King Arthur without magic, in my opinion.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Especially with Merlin. Like it's that relationship between the two characters.
I was just thinking that must be Merlin's work right there.
Yeah. And then I got this also, American Jesus.
Oh yeah, I got that one too.
I was literally just about picking that one up as well.
Yeah. Peter Gross is the artist, and I don't want to knock him. Like I don't want to say like he's a bad artist, but I'm really not into his art style, you know. But part of the reason this is one of like Mark Millar's early work, like independent work. So like he did a series called Chosen, and people have been waiting for him to do like a sequel to the book for the longest time, and they finally did it. And you can't tell, but this is actually Frank Quitely's art, you know. And like I love Frank Quitely's art. Like I remember when I first saw Frank Quitely's art, I was just like, oh, this looks stupid, looks lame, you know. But then like the more I read the stories, the art meshed perfectly well with the story. that I started to appreciate the art and the art style. It's like very good storytelling. So like I was excited that he was doing a cover, and when I saw the cover, I'm like, you can't even tell that it's this art. You know, like when I look at it, I'm like, I can't tell if this is Frank Wiley. I just know it's Frank Wiley because that's what it says on the interior. Like, you know, it's he's cover B. But there's that, and then one other thing, I love facsimile issues. It's kind of neat that they're doing that, and I saw this and I was just like, I really got to give this a shot. So I have the
Star Trek, yes.
I got the Star Trek motion picture facsimile adaptation.
But so you gotta read it like him too. You know that, right? You have to read it like Kurt.
With the amazing cheesy acting and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I really love that show because of the horrible acting.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do too.
Great.
Like of all the souls,
yeah,
it was the most human.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, that would be somebody cool to meet. I would definitely would like to meet like William Shatner and have him like sign a Star Trek comic book.
That'd be cool. Mine would be Picard. Mine's Picard, anyways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've been watching because I have Disney Plus, and I haven't watched it in so long, but I've been watching Gargoyles. And I didn't realize all of the Star Trek Next Generation actors that were voice actors on that show. So like Riker, number 1, he's the voice of Xanatos.
Yeah, and then
so like every time I'm watching that cartoon, I hear his voice, and I'm like, damn, he's good. You know, like he voice acted the hell out of that character. And Xanatos, if you really think about it, he's like Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark, like an evil version of Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark combined.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he's rich, he's smart, he's skilled.
But that's my trophy.
My brother-in-law just won his hockey game. I apologize. And
You're good.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Go Norwalls.
That's cool.
Trophy.
And that was really the kids interrupting.
That's my trophy.
Yeah, is it tasty?
Try it.
I think we're supposed to be like cheering her on, like chug it, chug it.
Yeah.
That was pretty horrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
I warned you, Jeff.
I know.
I warned you.
I know you did. Well, we got more views just because of that. More views just because of it.
Give me 1 second. I have to step away, but I'll be back in a couple minutes here.
Yeah. We're all good. You gave me a fair warning. But yeah, it's not too bad.
And here I was worried about the children.
Yeah. It's not too bad.
Hello, Jerry.
Told you.
No.
Yeah, but I picked up a couple of things from the signing, so I'll show you.
I would actually really love to see what you picked up from the signing because I was really upset that I couldn't make it.
Yeah, I picked up the art book from him. He actually did an art book especially for Yancey. So.
Do you mind doing a close up on that for me?
Yeah. I got you.
Is that literally just boobs?
Yeah, well, that's the covers.
No, that cover is incredible.
Yeah, the covers, and then the inside is all his art. The inside's actually all his art.
Even better, actually.
Yeah, see?
Oh,
his art. Yep. His art.
That's awesome. Oh my God.
Yep.
I should have suffered as I stood there.
Yeah. See? Art.
Oh man, that's stunning.
Yep. That's the art book. I actually have the other one from 2018. It's a different cover too.
I was gonna say, did you end up getting this one from your friend?
Hold on. Yeah. I had that. Yeah.
I'm like extremely ecstatic about this. I really want to make my own frames for it.
Yeah, they're a little bigger than 11 by 17s. I try to put them in 11 by 17s. They don't fit.
No, they won't work. You're gonna have to have custom frames for it.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing that Jenny Friesen cover.
Yeah. And then I picked up another one from like a book from him, a New York Comic Con exclusive, Redhead. You'll like probably this one. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of that one. But
yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm loving the katana.
Yeah. And then he signed it right there, so
even better.
Yeah.
I know. I wish I could find my Jenny Friesen one at the moment. Maybe the next I'll like be more prepared. Because I'm getting a Jenny Friesen Blackbird cover signed by her for like $10.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's like in a really nice gold ink.
Oh yeah, and then the Perillo book I picked up, I told you about. That cost one of his first works.
How much did it cost you?
Like $50.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I have to ask. Since Red Sonja fans, have you seen the Red Sonja movie?
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't know if Barbara's seen it.
I have not, but I'm excited.
Okay. This was a movie from the 80s.
I mean, I love the Lady Death movies. So if you see Lady Death movies, you know.
This is a live action film. It's not animated.
Yeah.
And it stars one of the greatest action heroes of all time, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Artie's in it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the lady's name that played him or played her though.
I'm trying to remember her name. She was in Rocky IV.
Yeah.
Who's she playing?
Bridget Nielsen.
Bridget Nielsen. She played the Red Sonja.
In Rocky IV, she was the Russian wife.
Yeah.
To Dolph Lundgren. She was like the tall like Russian like.
Yeah.
She actually did a really good job as Red Sonja, in my opinion. Yeah. Like she was a badass when she was like wielding the sword, and there's a cool scene like where it's so funny. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger's in this movie, and everybody kind of assumed that he was Conan, but he wasn't Conan. He was just another character that's kind of similar to Conan, and he was like helping her on her journey, and like you could tell like he's into her, and she's like brushing him off, like she's intrigued by him, but at the same time she's just like, I ain't got time for you, you know. And he's like, and they have this like sword battle with each other, which was almost like foreplay for them, I guess. I don't know, but
I mean that's Red Sonja.
Yeah, if you love Red Sonja, you got to check out the film. Ernie Reyes Jr., who like he was like a little kid in that movie. I totally forgot he was in that too.
Where can you watch this movie?
Well, I have it on DVD.
And I probably can find it for
Battle Royale kind of like hunt.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, now that I think about it, I don't know if it's out of print or not, because it's just one of those movies like it wasn't high in demand, and I came across it. And like, every time I buy these movies, because
you can order. I know you can order it on Amazon for sure. I've done it before. So
okay, yeah. If it's available on Amazon, you should do that.
Yeah,
what's the actual title of it? Is it Red Sonja?
Just Red Sonja.
Just Red Sonja. Really? Yep.
Why not? I'm watching tonight.
Yeah. Hey, let me know what you think next weekend. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we got to hear your thoughts on it. Like I'm sure you're gonna be like, oh, well, there's some parts that are definitely cheesy, and I'm like, yeah.
Are you kidding me? I know everyone probably shit on the Lady Death movies, but I think they're absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and these are the animated ones, right?
Yeah, the animated ones. I just like, she kind of like got stuck with being Lady Death because she's the devil's daughter. But I mean, like, she's like, kill them all, and she actually does kill them all.
Is it like an anime style, right? For the animation for Lady Death?
Not anime in like the manga sense, but animation, yes.
Okay.
I would say definitely more American style.
I always like to try to pick up like I'm like such a big fan of anything comic book related, especially when it comes to like television and film. So like anytime I see stuff like that, I try to like buy it, and I try to like add it to like my collection. Like I want like a whole section of all my movies just to be all comic book related, like TV shows and movies, just lined up in alphabetical order. So I'm like just yanking them and pulling them like boom, I feel like watching this.
That sounds like the dream. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I love the obscure films. I love like just getting stuff, even just like regular films. Like I'll pull out a film, and people are like, "I've never heard of this movie." Like, there's a movie called it goes by a couple different names, but I used to work at FYE, and I would like go through the catalog of movies. So like I would just like type in like I love Keanu Reeves, so I type in Keanu Reeves, and it gives me a list of all the movies they have in stock, and I would just come across like movies that I've never heard of. So every once in a while, I'd buy like a random movie, and there's this movie called Dream to Believe, and which I swear it went by a different name when it was first released, and like the main actress is played by Olivia Diabo, Olivia Diabo. She was like on the TV show The Wonder Years. She was the princess that was in the Conan the Barbarian, the second film, the Conan the Destroyer. So she's in it. She plays as this gymnast, and in playing the love interest, the boyfriend is Keanu Reeves, a very young Keanu Reeves. Like this movie was like before Bill and Ted.
Oh, there's another one she's probably not seen yet either. The Vampirella movie. I don't think she's seen that either.
Oh, right, the John Corman.
Yeah, the John Corman Vampirella movie. Yeah,
this was a Vampirella movie that was made. Like, did you ever watch?
Google search these things, and nothing is popping up for me.
Yeah,
for which one?
I mean, Vampirella or Red Sonja, but Lady Death popped up.
Yeah, Vampirella movie, and you'll find it.
Yeah,
Vampirella.
Did you ever watch the Mortal Kombat movie?
So I'm more of a Soul Calibur girl.
Okay. So like the girl that plays, if you've seen the Mortal Kombat movie, she played Katana.
Okay.
And she was the one that ended up playing as Vampirella.
Vampirella. Yep.
And it's like a low budget like Showtime. This was back in the day when Showtime was making their own movies.
You can find it on YouTube. You can actually find this on YouTube. You put Vampirella movie, and you can actually watch it on YouTube.
Like the whole movie?
The whole movie, yeah. It's an hour and some change. Yeah.
This is very low budget. Like they're basically like TV movies.
Yeah, be prepared. It's very low budget, and it's.
I used to go to Blockbuster and rent all the B-rated movies.
Good.
Yeah.
Like
this could be like. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, it's Roger Corman, and he's like a king of B movie like directors. Like he's done so many like B movies.
And the creator of Vampirella actually in the movie too. He's actually in the strip club. when she actually passes through the strip club, he's actually sitting in one of the seats. It's pretty fun. So we're blowing Barbara's mind right now.
We're teaching her about all kinds of stuff that she has no clue existed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I got into this business, right?
Right.
Blow my mind.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff.
I know, and I've been doing this for a very long time, and I'm still like, doesn't matter. Like, I think it's awesome that I get to learn new things literally every single day.
So I try to ask everybody new that I meet that's new that's in the comics. What got you in the comic books? What was it that you decided, you know what, I'm going to just start collecting comic books. I love this. This is cool. I'm going to start exploring and checking out other comics. And
so I used to be really into manga. Like hardcore manga. And then I decided to be different, and I'm going to check out an American comic.
Yeah.
So I picked The Runaways.
Oh, so The Runaways is what started it for you.
The Runaways is my all-time favorite.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they're what started me, and ever since I've read The Runaways at Books A Million, I have been hooked ever since.
It's so funny. You mentioned manga, and it I literally flashed back to like when I worked at FYE. We had a manga section, and I just remember these kids. Yeah, I remember these kids going over to the manga section, and they would just chill there for like 2-3 hours, and they're just reading the books, putting it back on the shelf, and then like, they would just like walk by, look at me, and they'd be like, "Bye,"
See, I wouldn't have done that at FYE. but I definitely would have loitered at the manga section at FYE.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had to do the whole like, you need any help? You have any questions?
Yeah, yeah.
Like do the whole like the talk to like, okay, well, you guys got to get out of here.
I started reading manga at the library. Surprisingly, Brandon Library has a whole manga section. Granted, it was Peach Girl and like, girly stuff like that.
Yeah. The only manga like I remember I was intrigued by was there was these really cool like Star Wars mangas, and they were supposed to be like the original trilogy. And the covers were so cool. Like it was the manga style, and the covers were in color, so like the covers just popped. And so when I saw those, I'm like, oh my god, these are so cool! I want to get these. And then of course I discover, when you buy the book and you open inside, there's no color; it's all black and white. And I'm just like, oh, why can't it be in color? Like, because the covers were so badass looking. Like when you see Darth Vader or Obi-Wan and you see them with the lightsabers, and I was just like, so bad. Like, I would totally like love to get them as posters, because they're just so beautiful looking, so very vibrant and colorful, and just that style. Like, I loved it.
I do like that, but I still prefer color. Like, was anyone else surprised by that new Image First? Was it 2022 or something like that? That it was like really awesome cover. It just came out like 2 weeks ago or something like that. And you open it up, it's just completely black and white.
The one that surprised me that was black and white was this one. Reanimator and Red Sonja one surprised me too. It was black and white.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, half the time that they make the comics in black and white, it's because it saves them money. Like, I think that's kind of like what motivated Robert Kirkman to do Walking Dead. Like when he was doing Walking Dead, like in sort of like the gray and black and white, it was so that they would save money. They wouldn't have to pay a colorist. So I mean, it doesn't like the black and white works for Walking Dead, like because the story is so good and you like the character so much.
Yeah.
So it works. I would still like to see it in color though. Like I feel like color is always better with the story, with the comics, the sequentials.
I'm not good with Walking Dead because it does have a really good storyline where it could support it.
Okay.
I just don't think like an Image First these days should probably start off with black and white.
Yeah.
It has like such an interesting cover. It kind of like grabs your attention. You're like, okay, what's this about? Especially when it has no title. The title is just numbers. Like,
oh gosh, I think I know what you're talking about. There's so many comic books to follow.
Yeah.
We can't.
I thought I had a good premise to it until I opened it up. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That always bums me out when there's a comic book like that. Like you see a cover and then like you open it up and you're like, this isn't what I wanted.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Here we go. Burke Family Comics. Favorite B&W comic is TMNT. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yep. Burt Family. And then
that's classic.
Frank Miller's Sin City, yeah. Which, by the way, I forgot they're making Sin City into a TV show, which I'm excited for.
The inks in Sin City just kind of made it a lot more worth it when it came to that. You know what I mean? You almost forget that it's in black and white, in my opinion.
Actually, it's mostly in black and white, right? Because like there's like the yellow bastard was always yellow.
It makes it beautiful.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Lone Wolf.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, Randall has.
That's a classic. I mean, I haven't read them, but I know of them.
Yeah, me too. I've ever read it.
I didn't even think they've done movies, but we're talking like old like Japanese films. And then like what's cool is like, have you been watching The Mandalorian?
Of course, I'm like obsessed with Mandalorian.
Baby Yoda.
So like The Mandalorian, there's like that style of storytelling where it's the lone mercenary, him, protecting the baby. So like you have the lone wolf and cub, which is basically like you have this like Roman warrior.
In the guilds, what morals are protect the younglings, and if you save a youngling, it's your duty to become what, like the youngling's father figure.
Yeah.
So like the morals in that whole guild is just beautiful, and I never knew that until I watched The Mandalorian.
It's also possible like they probably just made that up for the show too, because I don't know if that was in the comics or in the books.
I mean, I never read the comics for Star Wars, but I did pick a shit ton of them up, so I guess I should start reading before I sell them.
Here's a fun fact about Star Wars. The first Star Wars comic, right? That comic book actually was released before the movie was released in theaters.
I can see that.
So like, I always tell myself like, like what is a comic book film? Like it's basically a movie that's adapted from the comic book, right? Which means the comic book came out before the film. But on a technicality, the Star Wars comic came out before the film. So it's almost Star Wars is almost basically a comic book film, in my opinion.
So who came out with it first, Dark Horse or Marvel?
Marvel had him first.
That's why that number 1 is going up so high.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Marvel. Yep.
Like
it was going up high back when what was it? When they announced that Star Wars was going back to Marvel Comics and they were going to start making new Star Wars comics through Marvel, when Dark Horse no longer had that deal, and that's when Disney bought, like once Disney bought Lucasfilm, I think immediately people were already like, oh, that means, because at this point Disney already owned Marvel, so people already were counting down to like, when is Marvel going to start doing Star Wars comics again? Because now that Disney owns Marvel and they own Star Wars, it just makes sense. It makes sense that they would start doing Star Wars comics again.
And you know what? I was pretty upset because I was worried Disney was going to ruin it, but they actually did a really good job.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty solid. Like I was actually joking that like, now that Disney's doing it, and then Disney was like, "Sorry, George Lucas, we don't need you now." I was like, kind of like laughing to myself, thinking like, "Oh, great, like Disney's gonna make better Star Wars films than George Lucas," because
I forget his name, but the guy who's been writing and producing it is the same guy that was in Spider-Man: Homecoming. He was Tony Stark's butler, driver.
Favreau. Favreau.
Yes, and he's done a phenomenal job so far. So
Paul Bettany. Well, Jon Favreau is actually. Let's see here, Tony Stark's butler. Yeah, no, we're talking about Jon Favreau, not Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau's fantastic. He's been around for a long time. Like he was probably getting into film and back in the late 80s, and then really picked up in the early 90s getting work. Like I don't know if you ever watched the sitcom Friends.
Of course.
Jon Favreau was in it. He played a character that dated Monica.
Oh yeah. The first season or so, yeah. First or second season.
Maybe second or third season, because remember, like the first or second season, she was dating Tom Selleck.
Oh yeah.
But Jon Favreau. It's amazing too. Like when you think about it now, like how many people from Marvel were in Friends? Because Paul Rudd was on Friends. Jon Favreau was on Friends. Yeah. Paul Rudd played as Phoebe's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And that was towards the end. Like that was like the last 2-3 seasons of Friends.
Yeah, probably a little like young for that one. I just remember the first season, honestly, but after that.
I remember when they were releasing Friends on DVD, and I was buying up the DVD sets. And
I was watching that DVD in my aunt's car. We used to talk about that when Ross had a monkey and he went to the set and started singing the Lion King song.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't the Lion King song, but it was like like King of the Jungle, like Welcome to the Jungle song. No, well, not Welcome to the Jungle, because that's freaking Yeah, that one. Yeah. it was him and Marcel, the monkey, kept playing it, and like they were hanging out at Chandler or Joey. No, it could have been Ross's apartment. I forget. It's been so long.
I thought it was a set for a movie. they all start singing it. I just remember it because like we would all laugh our asses off for that scene.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's classic. It's classic. There's so many classic like stuff on that show. One of my all-time favorite episodes is when Brad Pitt shows up on Friends, and it's a Thanksgiving episode, and Brad Pitt played as an old high school friend who used to be like really fat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so like him and Ross were like friends, and they're like, yeah, we started our own club. It's the I Hate Rachel Club, and he'd do like a high five, and like Ross would be like, no, I can't do that. Like, you dated Rachel, and you knocked her up, and then you broke up with her. He's like, dude, you like high five again. You know? Ross is like, nope. That's so great. It was like such a great episode, like because this was back when Brad Pitt was dating Jennifer Aniston, you know, in real life. So
great series.
Yep, Perillo was the next one on the on the cover list on the favorites.
Yep. Nice.
Kind of figured you would like to look at some of them, so that's one.
His work is a hit or miss for me, but it's mostly a hit. Like that is stunning.
Yep, I got one that's more stunning. This is one of my favorite covers out of all of his this year.
Now that I think about it, doesn't Perillo do like a lot of covers with like a very dark tone and like a gray background?
Yeah. Oh, he's done Superman, man. He's actually done a couple of Superman ones. I don't like his Superman though.
Oh no,
he looks a little funky. He adds an extra ab or 2 or 3 or 4 or something.
He's an alien, so why not? You know.
Yeah. And then there's a Zombie Tramp one he did that I really like too.
Oh, Zombie Tramp.
I'll show you that one.
Nice.
Actually, that's pretty awesome.
57, first appearance of the new Zombie Tramp that he did a cover for.
I was actually, it's funny. It's like when you messaged me and you reminded me like we were doing the show tonight at 10. I had a random thought, like maybe one day I'm gonna have like an exclusive variant made, and I'm literally gonna try to call it the Jeff Wong variant. my goal is to get a Vampirilla variant made,
right?
And it's you, like in the cover. Like just like staring at like Vampirilla, like you know.
Oh my god, I would buy that. I would buy that in a heartbeat.
That would be funny. I would love that.
It'll be the It's Your Boy Jeff variant. That's what I would do.
That'd be cool.
The question is, what artist would I get to do it? I suppose it's up to Dynamite. Like I think the way it works, contact the publisher. You tell them that hey, I want to make an exclusive variant, and I think they give you like a list of artists that you can choose from. And then I guess they put you in contact with the artist, and you request like, this is what I want the cover to look like. And once all the details are worked out, then you just have to make sure you have the money to pay for all the copies made.
So is that how Yancey Street does it?
Yeah.
Because I have a really good friend, Robert Parker, for my birthday. He gave me a bunch of really sweet Yancey Street exclusives signed by the artist. It's, kind of see it. Harley Quinn exclusive.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think it's so awesome. Like I usually am not the biggest fan of Harley Quinn. I'm more of a Poison Ivy girl, but this is so beautiful. And he ended up giving me the black and white version.
Yeah, if you really love Poison Ivy, you have to watch that Harley Quinn TV show.
Yeah.
It is on my binge list.
Like they write Poison Ivy so well, and like just her like bantering with Harley Quinn, it's like they're besties, but it's like like laid back. Like you can tell like you can tell like Poison Ivy's cool, and Harley Quinn is like the goofy crazy one, and like the cool friend is like giving her advice.
I relate to Poison Ivy so much.
Yeah.
Talking about that, Don Matique actually did a Suicide Squad versus Justice League cover.
Yeah, that's pretty cool looking.
Yeah. That's actually pretty badass.
Yep. I was so mad I couldn't get it. I jumped on it too late. So
It's
Yeah.
never too late. From what I've
Yeah.
realized working in these shops, it's literally never too late.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for
Agreed.
the price going up when it was only $20, now it's like to 80 or something more than that. Yeah. So yeah. He's
Yeah,
done
I
a
agree,
lot.
Jerry. You know, that show is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Comics on the mind. Gonna watch
Yep.
it after Doom Patrol. Yeah. Doom Patrol's awesome too. Like, now that I think about it, it'd be so cool, like, when the live action series is done, if they wanted to make an animated series of Doom Patrol and then just use the actors to voice the characters on the animated show, like, that would be cool. Like, my favorite thing about DC is they have some of the best animated shows, and that's what I want them to do. I want them to do more animated shows. Like, I feel like Harley Quinn now is like my new favorite. Like, that is like my favorite thing that DC Universe has made.
Yep. This was the Yancey Street exclusive from Dawn.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
Yeah.
I feel like Bruce Wayne's arm is like ridiculously huge.
I mean, actually, surprisingly, I'm not the biggest Batman fan, but I'm actually really obsessed with what Dark Knight 3, the Master Race one from them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't Andy Kubert do the art for that series?
One for the Yancey Street cover.
Oh, not the cover, but just like the interior.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's see if I can try to get a
Yep.
like not bad for a Batman cover. It might be.
Yeah. Is that? I'm trying to think who the artist on that is. That Kelly Jones?
The inside, I think.
Actually, the cover art is by Kelly Jones.
Nice. Yeah, Kelly Jones. It's so funny. When I was first picking up Batman comics in the 90s, Kelly Jones was one of the artists, and I didn't really appreciate his art when I first was picking up Batman. I just thought, like, Batman looks too weird looking. Like, he looks too creepy looking, like the really long, thin Batman ears. And like, I look at it now, and I'm like, I'm so much more appreciative of it. Like, I feel like Kelly Jones is, he's more of like a horror artist. Like, he draws like horror style, like scary style, like drawings. Like, he just did a Batman miniseries, involving the Scarecrow. I think I forget the name of it, but it looked pretty cool. And then he's actually doing. I love that DC's working with Joe Hill, and they're doing like the Hill House comics.
Yeah, I am too.
Are you familiar with Joe Hill, Barbara?
I'm not, but what the preview Basketball Heads and the Dollhouse Family was a part of that, and I absolutely really love those.
Do you like Stephen King?
I like Stephen King.
It's Stephen King's son.
Horror.
That's Stephen King's son.
You stole my thunder, Jeff.
My bad.
Oh, that Lady Death kind of stole your thunder.
Yo, right?
Yeah, this one. Yeah. There's an Eric Basaluda cover.
The back end is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's an Eric Basaluda cover and it's an art book, so it got everybody's arts in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's everybody's arts in there, like this. Let's make myself bigger so we can show off some art here. It's all art.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm gonna take the right one.
Yeah, there's a bunch actually. Yeah, like art. I knew that you were talking about Lady Death, so I thought I'd bring it out.
Her name was Hope, and then turned into Lady Death, and you know.
Hey Jeff, are those pages sticking together?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, who did that right one?
Which one? This one?
No, the other one, the purple.
The purple one, it is. I'll tell you right now. I have to look in the back of the book, but I can tell you in a few minutes. Actually,
I'm going to read off some of the comments here. Jerry Torres.
Yep.
Randall, Jim Gordon. Yes.
Yeah, I was talking about that.
I mean, you know what? That's surprisingly, that's the only thing I don't like about Harley Quinn is how goofy they're making Jim Gordon. Like, I always like Jim Gordon being like serious.
Richard, Oritiz. That's the last name.
Ortiz,
yeah. Richard Ortiz. That's the one that did that one.
Sounds so familiar.
Yeah, Ortiz did that, and then The other one was Don Mateague. The one beside it.
Comics on the Mind. Brendan Fraser is hilarious. I agree. It's so cool to see him on a DC TV show. Like, it's cool, but then it's sad at the same time because that dude was like doing like big budget films.
I mean, if you heard his story, you'd understand why he stopped doing it. But I'm actually really happy for him that he decided to do Doom Patrol.
Oh yeah, I'm happy he's working again. Yeah, I think he was like in a bad marriage, and he was actually like injured from like the big budget films, and he was going through a lot.
The story was that he was abused through the industry.
Oh, that too.
It happens to men too.
That's part of the reason like he put on weight too, is because of his injuries, and he struggled. It's hard for him to work out because it's painful.
I mean, ooh, that's beautiful.
Yep, that's an Eric Basaluda one. That's a Ebas. I got another one that's the big art book. I'll bring that out next week. I gotta dig it up.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, that thing's nice.
Los wrote, I have almost all the Jim Lee variant covers for the Dark Knight 3 Master Race. It's a pretty good read. Dude, I love Jim Lee. Like, he's one of my all-time favorite artists. I'm so happy that I got to meet him a couple times.
Yeah. Jim Lee, but another one that I thought was interesting, Buzz actually did me an art piece. Rando's seen it. I know Barbara hasn't, so hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, real talk.
Erod212, sup all? What's up, Erod? Let's see here. Comics on the Mind.
I'm loving the why so serious.
All right.
Yeah, the art pieces. I actually met him at TampaCon, but I met him a couple of times. I met him like 3 times this year, and he did this.
Oh,
dude, Buzz I love his art, man.
Yeah,
like that dude should be getting like a lot of serious work.
Yeah.
I love it, but I can see why he's not. It's stunning. I think it's too much for people.
Yeah.
But no, that's actually gorgeous. It's like realistic, but still beautiful at the same time.
Yep, he actually water painted this, so that's pretty cool.
And how much did he charge you for that?
Nothing.
He did it for free, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
He actually didn't charge me anything. I thought he was, because he told the story behind it was I brought him the book, and he goes, I'm not in this art book. Dynamite and him don't get along. So he goes, but then he starts water painting this eyeball in the book. I'm like, it's gonna cost me like $50.
Buzz is like hardcore, man. He speaks his mind.
Yeah.
He literally doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing you can count on is for him to like really like not hold back. Like he will come right out and say, like, if he thinks someone fucked him over or somebody did something bad or said something bad, he'll be like, forget that guy.
He'll tell you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I love that cover. Actually, not the version copy, but
this is Buzz. This is actually Buzz. This is actually the one that did the water paint.
It's beautiful. So I wonder if he did some water paint on that one as well, because it kind of looks like he does with the red.
Yeah, he probably did. I wouldn't. I see him work with water paint a lot at cons. He doesn't charge much. He like some of his work that doesn't charge, like it's not expensive, really, compared to other people. Like his 11x17s are pretty cheap compared to some other people.
Yeah, he's very. But I think part of the reason also though is because he's just not a big name artist yet. Like anytime you become a big name artist, anytime you start working for like the top 2 big publishers, you can expect them to start raising their prices. Like
I mean, he did. He worked for the big.
Raising their prices. I just wish they would post it in advance.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna pay whatever you want. I just know.
It makes it easier, right, for you to come up with the money and save the money. It's like it's easier to plan ahead. They should be doing that. That would be the smart thing to do, because then they can get more work. They can get more submissions.
Yeah, but this year at MegaCon, I'm actually gonna save up enough where I can actually get Buzz to actually draw something.
Nice.
Can actually give him some cash to actually have him draw something.
So Barbara, I think we have a mutual friend. You know Jeff Tay. I'm sure you know Jeff Tay.
We all know Jeff Tay. Yeah, I know Jeff Tay.
Yeah. And so
Yep.
Jeff's big thing, like he and I have been talking about it because he loves Jim Lee as well. And
Major
like,
Jim
he's
Lee
actually
fan.
thinking about switching to like just like picking up like original art, like getting commissions done.
Yes,
And
he
so like
should.
one of the big things he wants to do is he wants to get a Jim Lee sketch, like a commission. And I'm the same way. Like I plan to do the same thing too down the road when hopefully when I have money. And Jeff's gonna get it before I do. I know it because he makes way more money than me. But like it's so funny. He makes more money, but he's so frugal with his money. Like he's smart with his money. Like he knows what, you know, like he feels bad if he spends too much on something that he's like, I shouldn't have bought that.
Yeah, it's the Asian half in us, man. That's what it is. It's
I can totally understand that.
Yeah. So like I think he got some of the information, and I think Jim Lee charges somewhere between $6,000 and $7,000 for a full body sketch.
Yeah, I would just get a head. If I was Jeff, I would only get a head sketch.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But you know me, Jeff. Like my goal is once I start having the money, like I want to get commissioned sketches of Electrical Blue Superman.
Yeah, I know. That's your first book that you ever got.
I don't know if you know Barbara, but that's what got me into comic books.
It's Superman. I'll let him tell you.
My knowledge is
when I was a kid, Death of Superman had just came out, and I was like, oh, like, I love the Christopher Reeve Superman films. I love the character Superman. So I was like, oh, I really want to read this. I want to look, check this story out. And my mom was just like, no. I was collecting Goosebump books at the time. And so my mom was just like, you're getting the Goosebump books. That's it. And then like an idiot, my mom just out of nowhere was just like asking me like, because at this point I had like 60 Goosebump books. And my mom was like, just out of curiosity, how many of these books have you read? And like an idiot, I told her the truth. I was like, I've only read 3 of them. And I was basically collecting it because I love the cover art on the Goosebump book. And I mean, I did want to read them, but I just didn't like reading books. And she was so mad. She was like,
story?
Huh?
The Choose Your Own Story? That's a classic.
Oh yeah. The Choose Your Own ones. Those were I always skipped ahead. I was just like, real fast, like, oh, what? If it's different, well, what happens if I do this, or what happens if I do that, and I got bored with that.
I was younger and I was dyslexic, so that was even worse.
Yeah.
So I would want to read it. It's just I would sit there. I'm like, I'm confused now.
Yeah. And so eventually, she stopped getting me the Goosebump books because I technically wasn't reading them. And so after some time passed, I was walking through this gas station, and this caught my eye.
Yeah, hold on, I'll make it bigger.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's actually one of the first DC cards I've ever collected, and I didn't realize that was. I just thought he looked really cool.
Oh yeah.
I remember
for the longest. I feel like an idiot too because for the longest time I thought it was Carlos Pacheco that did the art, but it was actually Stuart Immonen. So I hope one day to get a commission from Stuart Immonen and have him do like something similar to this, I guess. But like, I was like so intrigued. I was like, "What is this?" Like I thought it was a comic book. So I picked up the magazine. I was going through it. And I'm like, "This isn't a comic book." I was so disappointed. And then I started actually reading the articles, and there's the article in there about Superman with the new powers and the new look. And so my dad actually went to a comic book store and he got me the issue Superman 123, which is the first appearance of the Electrical Blue Superman. And that's what started it all. And then it just got me thinking, like, if it weren't for Electrical Blue Superman, I don't know 100% if I would be collecting comic books or not, if I'd be as heavy involved in it or not. But that's always going to be like, that's what got me into comic books. That's my inspiration. So I got a couple things going on. Like I would love to get commission art of like, actually, I think I have a couple right here. I'm sure you know Jamie Jones.
Probably, maybe. If you show us the art, we might know.
So I had him do this for me.
Yeah, we know Jamie.
But
Hold on, I'll make it bigger window. So hold it right there.
Okay.
that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he actually did it. It actually looks like Jamie too. That's what's funny. It actually looks like
art style.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like him a little too.
I got like a really good deal. I think he like charged me $20 for this.
Oh wow. Yeah, and it's incredible.
Yeah. This is like one of the. What's funny? This is one of these comic book frames that I bought at Books A Million.
Hey, Randall, do you have a CGC graded copy of 123 or no?
I actually have like 4 or 5. You want me to go grab one and show you?
I mean, I would love to see one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they all in different grades though? Like 9, 9, 4, 9, 8, 9? Or
Technically, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so mine is Absolute what was it? No, mine is Carnage Unleashed. That's what my first comic was. That got me into comics in general. Yeah. Carnage Unleashed issue 4.
Oh wow.
Yep. And I didn't know it was an issue 4 until I got back into collecting and figured it out.
I'm trying to think of like which one that is exactly, because I'm like, I kind of know all the Carnage ones. How do I not know that?
It's Carnage and Venom Unleashed. That's why yeah, that's why. It's the cover. It's the one cover that they got at comics and stuff. The one issue they have is issue 1. By the same rack that they had the Star Wars. It's up above it.
Oh, the Star Wars I grabbed?
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second here.
I got you. How many slabs did you bring? 1? Or did you bring all 4? How many more do you got over there?
I just have 4. I've cut down on a bit just because I'm broke.
Yeah, so you got CGC version of it, and you got a CBCS version of it, right?
Actually, no, I don't have a CBCS version. I can't find one. Like people aren't selling any CBCS ones on
that's pretty funny.
On eBay.
Yeah.
I would expect you would have had that.
So we'll start with the 9/8.
Hold on. Let me make it bigger so Barbara and everybody can see.
Oh man.
Nice. So there's 2 covers. This is the glow in the dark cover.
Even better.
That's a 9/8.
Yeah.
And then I got a 9/4.
So if you don't mind asking, why do you have so many of the same copy?
Yeah. Which, by the way, Barbara, if you ever find any copies of Superman 123, pull them to the side and hold them for me. I will buy them.
It has a sentimental value to Randall.
Yeah.
It has a value to Randall. That's why.
My goal is like eventually to have like every grade version of this book.
I know.
Even a 4.0?
All the way. All the way. It's so funny when you work in grading, because I used to work for CBCS and I would talk to other people who collected.
Another one that can teach you about grading is Randall.
Yeah. There was like some collectors, like I think one of them I worked with, Stephen Bagley. This guy, Stephen Bagley, if you ever get to meet this guy, he's a bald guy, super nice, hardcore collector, like very humble. I tell him, dude, you're a freaking expert. And he's like, no, I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan. I'm just a collector, you know? And I'm like, dude, you know so many things, you know, like he gets stuff graded by CBCS, by CGC. He goes to a lot of conventions. He's got so many signatures. He goes like hunting. Dude, when I was working with him at a convention, he'd go to a dealer. He'd go through like their dollar boxes. He'd pull out a book and he's like, look at this copy. Look how pristine this copy is. And he's like, I'm pretty confident this is a 9/8. And this book is extremely hard to get in a 9/8. You know, this guy's like a hardcore collector. Like he finds like the rarest books and like the best conditions. So I have this. I don't think I told you about this, Jeff.
Nope. Yeah, I don't think so either.
All right, so this is the original art piece.
I didn't know you had that either. Anyway,
Oh my god, that's awesome.
What'd you pay for it, Randall?
I actually got it for free.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a gift from my boss.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a gift from Steve Borak, the president of CBCS.
That's really cool.
He was at Tampa Bay Comic-Con. Joe Rubenstein was there. He's friends with Joe Rubenstein. And so Joe was the inker on this particular issue. This is Superman issue 135.
Oh, 135, okay.
And this is page 16 of issue 135.
Okay.
The original art. And he got like a really good deal because he's huge, super huge in the original art. And so I told him, I might get into that too, but like
it's beautiful.
A lot of money. And but he gets all kinds of great deals. And because he's friends with Joe, and he knew I was a big Electrical Blue Superman fan, he came across this page and he's like, oh, you know what? He's like, I think Randall would really like this. Oh, and he even got like Joe to sign it on the bottom here too.
That's really cool, man. That's honestly really cool. You need to get that thing.
I own an original art page.
You need to get it framed. That's what you need.
Yeah. Like you definitely need to get it framed.
Oh yeah. I have it in this like top loader right now, but I definitely need to get it.
Have Electric Blue Superman right behind it too.
Yeah. And you can even see right here, there's a copyright stamp.
Oh, that's cool. Hold on. I'll make it bigger so you can see it. Yeah, well, yeah.
1998 DC Comics.
Oh my god.
Yeah, everybody's saying that's beautiful. That's nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I have it sitting on a shelf along with all my graded Superman 123s. So it's nice. Like I'll just be laying in bed watching TV, and every once in a while.
Yeah, the wall I'm looking at, I got all different art there too.
Oh, dude, you got a cool
I was gonna say, I love that one behind you in the white frame.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
This one is by one of my friends from YouTube, Jim Boatwright and family, and he actually did this, so that's pretty cool. And he knew I was a big Vampy fan, so he actually did this for me. So
you better have that Jeff Wong variant framed when I get that made for you.
You know I will, and it go right back here too, like everything else.
I'm gonna do too. I'm gonna have a word bubble next to your face, and it's gonna say "Nerd Out sucks." Right there,
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff. I broke that rule of ours.
You're all right.
I'll do it again.
I'm gonna silently agree.
Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but I love Tim, if it helps.
Yeah, we all love
Tim.
Oh,
yeah. No, Tim, I've known Tim probably like at least 15 years.
Wow.
Since we bring it up, Tim won't be making it. Tim's actually really tired from his gigs.
That's what happens when you turn 50. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, he gives it his all, so.
No, he works.
Yeah, he's a sorry guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he works.
He works way too much.
He actually cosplays a lot too. He's an actor.
Yeah.
Why do you act?
Yeah, he cosplays.
Go to these conventions cosplaying?
Nah, he's never cosplayed at a convention. But
I would personally like to see Tim do a one-man show of a Weekend at Bernie's play. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Playing the two characters and Bernie.
That'd be kind of weird, but yeah, that would be kind of weird,
right? He's trying to like carry himself. I'm sorry, Barbara. I don't know if you're familiar with Weekend at Bernie's.
A little past my decade, but
okay. If you ever get a chance to, it's a fun '80s film.
Mm-hmm.
Their boss gets killed, and they carry around the corpse of their boss throughout the entire trip because they're trying to like, I don't know, get a deal made or something like that. Convince people, like, hey, we're friends with Bernie.
Some voodoo happens and the body starts moving.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is people think that Bernie's alive.
Yeah,
you know,
anytime music would play, he would start moving.
Yeah, you're talking about the second Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, that's the second one?
That's the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it's a crazy film. It's a crazy film.
Yeah.
Oh, and one other thing I will show off. So I also want to be. I've said this before on the show. I don't think you've seen it, Barbara. So and then I'm sure with the new viewers, they probably don't know. So I also want to be a comic book writer. I mentioned before, like Jeff Johns, like he's like one of my all-time favorites, and like he literally did like so many things that I wanted to do with DC Comics. So when I first had my store back in like 2013, 2014, I saw this available through Diamond, and I immediately bought it. And it's the DC Comics Guide to Writing Comics by Denny O'Neil.
I need one of those. Yeah. I've been thinking about doing that too.
And so I don't know how it happened, but one day it got me thinking, like, how cool would it be if I got a lot of my favorite writers and writers that I really admire and respect? How cool would it be if I got them to sign this book, right? And so that way, every time I look through the book and I see their signature, I'm reminded, like, that's what I want to be. I want to be like them, like the people that I look up to.
Yeah.
So the first person I got to sign it was Mark Waid.
I kind of figured
Which
that would be the first
right here. And then I got Peter David. And I'll never forget, Peter David kind of cracked me up. When I got him to sign the book, he kind of just looked at me and he's like, I wrote a book on how to write comics, right? I did not know that. I'm sorry. So I told him, I promise next time I see you, I'll make sure I have that book and I'll have you sign that one too.
Do you have it?
Not yet. Not yet. This one is Gail Simone.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I decided to get Mike Grell just because he's a legend. Like, he worked on Green Arrow. And then Chuck Dixon was super nice. Like, I got him to sign that.
Yes, you don't got one other person in there. Mark Millar.
Man, you keep stealing the thunder, dude.
My bad. I didn't
I'm
know.
going to turn you into a superhero in a comic. You're the thunder stealer. You take people's powers. You're like the Cantonese cowboy rogue.
Yeah.
There you go. So anyways, I have Chris Claremont, who's famous for writing X-Men.
I mean, yeah.
And then I got Brad Meltzer, who he's written probably one of my all-time favorite comics, which is Identity Crisis.
Yeah, I'm so mad I didn't get to meet him.
And then I got Scott Snyder to sign it. He was super nice. I also got to meet Greg Capullo, but when I met Greg, I was like, I'm sorry, Greg, I don't have anything for you to sign, but it is an honor to meet you and hang out, like say hi. And he was, dude, Greg Capullo is freaking hilarious. Like, he's super chill. That's a dude like you want to go hang out with and have a few drinks, and then he will just crack you up the whole night and make all these stories, and he's hilarious. All right, here's the thunder that
I stole.
Jeff stole here. So
C2E2 thing, right? Wasn't it?
Right. I got to go to C2E2. This was back when it was still Uncanny Heroes, and Mike Savage was, in charge. Like, he was the owner of the store. Ivan was working with him. He was co-owner. So they were all going to C2E2 for the retailer summit. And, so last minute, Mike Savage is like, hey man, you can come with us. You just need to get a plane ticket. And he's like, we'll let you crash on the floor in the hotel room and you can go to C2E2. And I was like, let me think about it. And then when I heard that Mark Millar was going to be there, so like Mark Millar also, like, he's up there with Jeff Johns for me. Like, I feel like he's the Stan Lee of our generation. And so he was going to be there, and he has not appeared at an American convention in like 10 years. So I was just like, I have to meet this guy. I got to meet him. Like, he's one of my heroes. And so I had a special spot that I wanted him to sign in this book. And the cool thing I didn't realize this until I got back from, because you can get up to 3 books or 3 items signed by Mark Millar. So when I got back home and I was looking at the stuff, I noticed that the signatures looked different. So like, he had his generic like signature that he does for the signings for the books. And then the signature he put in this book was like a pristine, like super nice, like this signature does not match his other signatures. Like he gave me like the super good signature on it.
So you can actually read it.
Right. And I told him before he signed it, because he was just getting ready to sign anywhere. And I was like, oh no, I have a special spot for you to sign. He's like, really? And I said, okay, so there's a person that wrote the introduction to this book. This man is legendary. Everybody knows who he is. Stan Lee. Stan Lee wrote the introduction for Denny O'Neil's How to Write Comics books, or DC Comics. And so what I did was I actually got Stan Lee to sign this book as well.
See, I didn't steal all your thunder.
Exactly. I know. You only stole half of it. But so there's a cool introduction that Stan Lee wrote, and I got him to sign right there.
Well, that's not, actually you could actually read Stan. So
I wanted him to sign on the same page as Stan, because I told him, I feel like you're the Stan Lee of our generation, and he was very like, oh wow, that's very nice of you to say. I really appreciate that. And when he looked at the book and he looked at the signature, he was like asking me, he was like, is that really Stan's signature? And I said, yeah. And so this beautiful Mark Millar signature right there.
That's why he did it. That's why he did it the way he did it, because he looked at how Stan's looked. He wanted to match it at least.
Probably. I mean, or he realized how important.
I would say it's more because he just felt like it was just so more important and like it really mattered to you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then my goal is over on the other side of the introduction, probably on the bottom. My goal is to get Jeff Johns to sign right there. Or I might have him sign like on the left where Stan Lee is at. So that's my goal.
I think you got this.
Yeah.
The way you're going, you got this.
And I really want to get Denny O'Neil before he passes away, because he's getting up there in age too. And I would probably have Denny O'Neil literally sign the cover. He's the only one that deserves to sign the cover because it's his book.
Does he do a lot of conventions?
No. Like he recently, like this past year, like last year, he did a convention in Canada, and I was literally doing the math in my head, and I'm like, do I have enough money to fly out to Canada, get a hotel, go see him for the convention for one day? But the scary thing is he's also known for canceling appearances. So my biggest fear was do I fly out to Canada? He cancels, and then I flew out there for nothing, and like I lose a chunk of money, like that was my biggest fear.
You could go around eating poutine and all that other stuff. You can go if you do go up, yeah. But I don't know. It depends on my whole money situation later this year. Hopefully, I have enough where I can like. Hopefully, he'll appear at like a small convention close to where he lives, and I'll just like fly out there and that. Or MegaCon, because we haven't got a guest list for MegaCon. Huh? We still haven't got a guest list for MegaCon. So you never know. He might show up for MegaCon. So
this guy doesn't want to travel. He doesn't want to. That's why I was surprised he was going to Canada. I was like, yeah. You never know, man. So you never know. It's true. It's true. Maybe one day he's like, you know what? I feel like going to Florida. Let's go do a convention there.
Paradise Central, the United States.
Right.
Or some people like to call us the ass end of
right. Florida's penis. Oh no, I'm sorry. America's penis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
I mean,
who's gonna be on the guest list for MegaCon?
Nope, don't know yet. Movie stars we do, but comic book artists or any of that stuff is not.
Yeah, that's always going to be like probably 2 months before the convention.
Yeah,
the convention's going to be like what, in April?
Yeah, in April this year.
Yeah, so we'll probably know more by February. So like another month or two to go.
Yeah,
I'm trying to go for because they're hosting the retailer summit for Diamond. And so they'll have like publishers there. Like when we went to C2E2, like they had publishers there, and you can get like these exclusive variants that they were handing out only to retailers.
That's cool.
So I'm hoping to go and do that because it's in Orlando. Why not? Like I'll drive out there every day if I have to, just to
I'm gonna say it's what, an hour and a half to drive. You really don't have to stay there.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's the whole point. And it's a hassle just to make that drive, but it's worth the hassle to not have to pay for like $80 or $100 for a stupid hotel room.
Yeah, and what you were just telling me $85 for the weekend right now?
Yeah, right now, but on the 15th it goes back up. It goes up to something like 100 maybe.
Oh, for
maybe. Yeah, for MegaCon for 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, like that's the thing is like the retailer summit is separate from MegaCon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and like you actually have to pay to get into the retailer summit. I think it's like $80 or something like that. What they do is they'll bill you onto your Diamond account, so you don't have to pay it up front, but you will have to pay it later on.
Okay.
You know, like when you get one of your Diamond orders, they'll just tack that on. So it's like if your Diamond order is like $400, they'll add the $80 onto the $400, and it's like you have to come up with all that.
$80 is for the whole weekend?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's not so bad, especially if hopefully.
Oh yeah, I mean they pay for the meals. Like they have like a breakfast and a lunch meeting and a dinner meeting, and like other retailers will be there. Other retailers from across the state that decide to go there. You know, so like all kinds of people from different comic book businesses. People from LA will probably be there. People from New York will be there. People who own comic book stores. It's an invite only for retailers. And of course the retailers they'll bring along like some of their employees. And
I'm a Rando employee. I said I'm a Rando employee. I'm coming
yeah, if you have no problem paying to get in, I'll add your name to the list.
Yep. Nope. I got no problem.
Doesn't sound like a bad deal at all.
Oh no, it was really cool. When we did it, like Mike Savage was basically, it's so funny, like I had no plans to go to the retailer summit at C2E2, but he added my name to the list and then just automatically assumed that like, oh, you'll go and then you're going to pay for going. And it's like, you didn't even ask me. Like if you would have asked me, I would have told you I don't have $80. I'm not going to do it. And so then he's like, oh, well, you can pay me back. Like, we'll work something out. And I was just like, so upset. I'm like, and then the worst part is I'm paying him the $80 to go to the summit. I don't even get to keep the variants. I'm giving him my variants. So like my buddy Marco was telling me like, don't pay him. He's like,
oh, are you kidding me?
Like he gets to keep the variants. You shouldn't have to pay him. So I never paid him.
He's not the guy with the statue of that I fucking hate Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry, but the gross looking guy that's like my precious.
Oh, like Golem?
Yeah, Golem. Is he that guy?
I guess he's got that like that Regis Philbin voice.
Yeah. That's
he orders. Okay, well, I probably shouldn't say that.
He's not. I mean, he. You know what? He was ordering statues, I think, but he was the guy who owned Uncanny Heroes.
Yep.
He was like really short.
Heroes, right? Before Justin?
Yeah, before Justin.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah. Oh man. Like he's very clever. He's very clever and he's very confident. And like because he's so clever and confident, when you first meet him, you believe almost everything he says. Like before he opened the store in Tampa, he was telling me and Marco, like, I want you guys to run the Tampa store. So here I was thinking that he was going to hire me. So I was unemployed and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to hold out. I'm going to wait a few months, see if this comes together. And then I'll start working with Savage. And month after month after month went by. And then all of a sudden, he started changing information. He started changing the way he's, was like saying things. Like it went from me and Marco running the store to, oh, you're not going to run the store, but we'll find work for you to do. You'll be working. You'll be an employee. And then it went from being you'll be an employee to, yeah, I might throw you like a day or two a week for you to work.
This is starting to sound more and more like this guy, and I only met him once.
Oh yeah. Oh, he would have been super nice to you.
You're a girl.
Yeah. He would have been flirting with you, making compliments. He would have been doing the whole like,
Yep.
Well, I have a really standoff vibe, so probably not. But if it's Gollum,
he will use that like Regis Philbin voice. He'll use that like Tony Robbins, like, hey, how are you doing today? You're doing great. That's great. Yeah, I'm doing great too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He weasel his way. He'll try. Like we all fell for it. Me early on, I was like, after a while, I started to see a pattern. I started to see him say that, hey, I'm going to do this, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Didn't happen. Say another situation came up, he would say the same thing. Didn't happen. Once 4 or 5 times it happened in a row, I was like, this guy's full of shit. This guy says he's going to do this or he's going to do that. It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then like everyone else that was working with him, they're like, he likes to brag and say that he's friends with Joe Quesada. And he's like, oh, I'm going to bring Joe Quesada in to do a signing at the store.
Message him now and be like, okay, are we talking about the same guy? No, but if you ever see the statue of Gollum from the last owner, it's priceless.
Yeah.
It's literally priceless.
Oh, dude, Cameron, I love that Friday the 13th of Jason Voorhees.
Man, I can remember, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank to the guy that made him. He makes the most incredible figures. He did an incredible Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Oh, I know you're talking about, like, he's friends with Red.
Yes, he's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I remember one time Red, like, posted a picture of the Cosmic Ghost Rider, and he didn't make it shareable. So I literally, like, stole the picture. Like, I copied I downloaded the picture. And I posted it on Twitter, and I tagged. I posted the picture, and I tagged what's his name, Donnie Cates, and Donnie Cates loved it. I think he retweeted it, and like Red saw that, and he's like, "What the hell, man?" Like, but in a happy way. Like, dude, that's awesome. I'm glad.
That's awesome. Did you ever see Red's figure that he did for him? He's Thor.
Oh.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost exactly like him, except his hair is brown.
Hey, TJ.
Brown?
Perfect. Yeah.
American Watson.
But it's amazing. Everything he touches is gold.
He needs to make it like a Santa Claus figure with Red. Because I remember when Red dressed up as Santa Claus. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Oh my God.
I
got to introduce you guys. Since TJ, the Slapdragon Watson, wants you guys to introduce yourself. So, yeah. When he says
yes to me, please.
Yeah.
Hey, TJ, I'm Randall Armstrong.
Yep. That's Randall. There's Barbara. Randall. So that's the TJ. This is Randall here, and this is Barbara. So whenever TJ says it, I have to do it. It's TJ the Slapdragon Watson. So
that's actually a really cool nickname, the Slapdragon.
Yeah, I'm loving that.
Trust me, the whole reason his nickname is TJ, he has a lot of slabs.
Yeah, he should just cosplay as like the Savage Dragon holding slabs.
Yeah, and Downright Nerdy podcast is really nice. He's from LA and stuff, so he's gonna be at San Diego this year. Yep. So Downright Nerdy.
Always looking for a new podcast.
Mm-hmm. Downright Nerdy, and then there's another one. There's a local guys, little podcast. They're and then the guy's name is Cookie. Really nice. So,
Jeff, you know a lot of cool people, dude. Like I commend you for like all the work that you've done with YouTube and just like meeting everybody. Yeah, I mean, like I'm trying to remember how we first met. Like we first met, like you just came into my store one day, right?
Yeah. And I was you remember I was as shy as she was. You remember?
Oh yeah. Dude, you used to be so quiet. You were so quiet. And like
hey, you were quiet when I met you. But then again, we did start talking about Vampirella instantly.
Yeah. And I just remember like I think when customers came in, you'd be quiet. But then like when the customers leave, then that's when you and I would kind of just start chatting and talking.
Yep.
And I think the more and more we talked and the customers came in and then they would join the conversation. So then you got more comfortable and you started talking to other people.
So more introductions.
Actually, I would like to know what store you have.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you my origin story. I started off as a comic book collector, and I shopped with William M. Signaris over at Demolition Comics. And because I shopped there so often, one day he, told me like, "Hey, have you ever thought about working at a comic book store?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that'd be so awesome." And so he had recently acquired Hooked on Comics, which was on Waters Avenue, and a long time ago. And so I would drive out to Waters and I would work at that store. And he, of course, renamed it Demolition Comics as well. And it was referred to as Demolition Comics 2 because it was the second store. And so I worked there, and we really helped build that store up. This was long before Heroes Haven. Heroes Haven was actually originally known as Wonder Water. And so, gosh, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I can't think of his name. I feel bad. He took, like, Wonder Water was closing up, so he took it over. And then he worked with Pete, and then they did Heroes Haven, and they were still way out. They were still way out in North Dome Mabry, but then they kept moving closer and closer to the Demolition Comic store. And so that's a little bit of like, gives you an idea like how long ago that was before Heroes Haven moved into that one spot and blew up and got really huge.
And then dominoes and fell after.
Wait,
I mean, there's been like stores that popped up.
Uncanny Heroes, the same location.
I'm sorry?
Heroes Haven was Uncanny Heroes in the same location before?
No.
It was another one.
Heroes Haven was out by Linebaugh.
Yeah, Linebaugh and out by Linebaugh.
Out by Linebaugh.
Yeah.
So like close to North Tampa. Like they weren't too far from where Veterans 24 movie theater. They're like 5-10 minutes away from there. So that's where they were at. And Will was horrible with money. He got like an insurance. There was this customer that would come in. He didn't buy a lot of comic books. My first day of not working there, my buddy Joe got hired on as manager. I wasn't there. And it was Joe's first day working at the store by himself. This guy messed up, and he thought he had his car in reverse, but he had it in drive. So when he tried to back out, his car jumped the curb and hit the store.
Oh, shit.
And it hit the glass, and pieces of glass was hitting my buddy Joe. And I got a phone call from Will, and Will like left a message, and I called him back, and he just immediately starts yelling at me. And he's like, "Your fucking friend came in, and he was so pissed you weren't there. He tried to, he crashed his car into the store and killed Joe." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "He tried to kill Joe. Joe's alive, but I think he is. I don't know. He could be under the car."
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, "Okay, hold on." Like, and I called Joe, and Joe's like, "No, I'm fine. I'm a little rattled, but like, no, and so I called back, and I just was like, "You know what? I'm going to drive there, and I'm going to see what happened." And Will, of course, at this point has calmed down. He's like, "No, I appreciate you coming out here and checking out the store and all, but yeah, man, like your fucking friend, man. He came in here, and look at this is a mess. We're going to have to deal with the insurance companies and all that stuff." And what's funny was he went after his insurance company, got a big check, and he used that check to open up the third store. And so I always kind of said, like, Will would never have gotten that third store if it weren't for me being nice and friendly to the guy who accidentally crashed his car into the store, and so, but like, we'll skip further into the future. Will was horrible with money, and we had huge diamond orders. We were like spending like almost between $3,000 and $5,000 a week. We had a lot of customers. We were doing great, but the money, he kept saying, like, just kept disappearing, and so he was mad that I was over ordering on books, and he was stressing out and like taking it out on me to the point where I was like, you know what? Like, he got so mad one day that he was like, I need to get out of the store. He's like, if I don't get out of the store, I'm going to throw you out of the store. I'm going to punch you or something like that. And I was just like kind of just like taken aback, like shocked, like, wow, like, I can't believe, you know, in my mind, I'm like, I can't believe you just said that. So I was talking to Joe. I was telling him like, yeah, I'm not happy with the way Will's been treating me. Not happy with the whole situation. I think I'm going to quit. It's going to put in my 2 weeks. So I put in my 2 weeks. We left on good terms. And then later on, Joe, like, because I was always like asking Joe, like, hey, how are things going? Like now that I'm not there. And Joe made it sound like, oh yeah, everything's cool. Everything's great. And then like about a year, maybe 2 years later, Joe like quit/fired. And so when I talked to him, he told me, look, man, I've been lying to you the whole time. Like it's been bad. And he's like, it got even worse after you left, you know? And I was just like, why didn't you tell me this? You know, like I felt miserable that you guys were doing good, you know? And he's just like, yeah, he's like, it wasn't professional. So I was like, okay, whatever. So like, and again, jump a few more years ahead. My buddy Frank was still working with Will. He was going into the military. I had just got let go from a job, got into a car accident, and I needed the money. And I didn't know what job I was going to get. So he's like, hey, this is your perfect chance to take over. And I looked at him like, are you fucking crazy? You know, like you know how crazy this guy is? And he's like, I swear, man, he's changed. He's better. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take your word for it. And so like he's off at basic training and Will starts pulling these shenanigans. And so when I managed to talk to him, I'm like kind of like mad at Frank. I'm like, dude, are you crazy? Like he's doing all these crazy things. Yeah, I thought you said he was better. And he's like, he wasn't doing that when I was there. And I was just like, son of a bitch. And then jump forward ahead again. We got into an argument one time and he literally just dared me to open my own comic book store. He's like, you think this is easy, man? You think you can do this? He's like, I dare you. He's like, I dare you to open your own comic book store. You wouldn't last 2 months. So I managed to last 2 years. And what happened was my dad had passed away. And so I was really worried about how things were going to be handled at home and with my mom. So I wasn't really profiting. I was still like in the beginning stages with the business. Like it was growing. I had like 40, maybe 50 subscribers. But there was still so much work and so much stuff I needed to do that, you know, between doing that, helping my mom, it was just too much. So I gave up the store.
Yeah.
And I was partnered with Glenn. And Glenn at the time was my friend. And I felt like if I had just quit, if I had closed up the store, I'd be screwing over my customers because now they have to go find another store to go shop at. I didn't want to screw over my customers. I'd be screwing over Glenn because at this point, Glenn had dropped a bunch of money into working his half of the store. And, you know, because he was doing records, I was doing comics, and we were paying half the rent. And so I didn't want to screw Glenn over. So I said, listen, man, I just need enough money to pay off whatever bills left that I owe. So it came out to about $900 and change. So like, you know, at this point, rounded to like $1,000. So Glenn insisted like, yeah, man, I'll make sure I get that money to you in a few months.
You're that guy I keep hearing about?
Huh?
Are you that guy I keep hearing about?
Yeah.
Cut fruit over?
Yeah.
Oh, you really did?
Oh, yeah. Glenn basically just kept lying to me, like, oh, I don't have the money. And he's buying up like these comic book collections. And I'm like, I see that he's buying them on Facebook. And I'm like, every time I approach him, he's just like, oh, I don't have the money, man, or not yet. And before you know it, 2-3 years went by. And then he's like, still doesn't have the money. Doesn't make any sense. And he would just brag. He's like, oh, we had a great free comic book day. Lots of people showed up. So then I would tell him like, oh, that's good. That means you should have some money.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still not profiting and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay. You know, and eventually he got mad because I was promoting and supporting Uncanny Heroes. And he literally at one point in one of the comments wrote, stop fucking sharing or stop sharing.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And randomly out of nowhere. And I was just like, I didn't even respond. And not long after that, he unfriended me on Facebook. And so I knew right then and there when he unfriended me on Facebook, I'm like, I'm never getting that money. You know? And then I think I talked with Dino, and Dino's like, okay, tell me your side of the story. And then later on, he told me, and I also heard it from Tim, that that Glenn is saying something different. He's saying that I owe him money. And I gave him my store. I gave him over 10,000 comic books. I gave him my subscribers. All I wanted was roughly $1,000, you know?
Randa, read this comment.
Yeah.
Which comment?
TJ's.
Rob, I had to...
Oh, yeah, because he's talking about Rob over here, yeah. But like I said, man, it's
on sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, they're talking in the comments, but
okay.
yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those like.
What's Barbara's origin story now? Since Randall gave his, because TJ's gonna want to hear it. So.
Oh, but I mean, I never even told her my comic book store name. My original.
Oh yeah, Thunder Road.
It was Thunder Road Comics. Yeah, that was the original store. I wanted to call it Randall's Comics, but all my friends were like, "No, that's lame. Don't do that." You know,
it's lame, but Thunderbird just sounds way cooler.
Yeah, Thunder Road. Yep. Yeah,
Thunder Road. The reason I chose Thunder Road, there's this classic '80s movie called Explorers. River Phoenix is in the movie. Ethan Hawke is in the movie. They're kids. They're kids in this movie, and it's like a science fiction film where they're going space. So you know, when they're all working together, they're building this tiny spacecraft that they're making so they can go in space and meet the aliens. And they're like, we got to name this ship. What are we going to name it? And they called it Thunder Road. And so I was like, I've always liked that. And so I was like, all right, Thunder Road Comics, you know. And it's so funny because when people hear the name of the store, they're like, are you a big fan of the, what's his name? Not Springfield. The singer, the boss. What's his name? Rick.
Oh, no. Springsteen.
Yeah. They're like, are you big Springsteen? Yeah. And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, because you know, there's a song called Thunder Road or something like that. So, which is probably inspiration for them naming the ship Thunder Road. But the inspiration for me was that movie. So, but the current business name that I have right now is Blank Variant Comics.
I was about to say, I tried not to steal your thunder.
Huh?
I tried not to steal your thunder this time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still want to bring back Thunder when I have like maybe a physical location.
Right.
But as like as an online business, I want to build myself up to be like my real goal. One of my real goals is to turn the Blank Variant Comics into like I want to be the, you know, like when people are looking for Blank Variant covers or books, like I want to be the #1 source. Like, you know, hey, I need a blank cover. Where am I going to go? Blank Variant Comics.
But that's cool that TJ really likes you guys. So that's a compliment, for real.
I slap dragon, I bet.
Yeah, slap dragon. Yeah. Now Barbara's turn.
Yeah.
Mine is so boring.
Yeah, but he wants to hear it, so because he's never seen you guys, so that's the main reason. Okay.
I was selling a shit ton of crap comics one day, and I literally went to every single comic book store in Tampa to sell these comics and see how I get the best deal. And Pete gave me the best deal, and not only that, me and Pete really hit it off. He's an awesome guy. He gave me my first start, and he really showed me the ropes. He's like, you know what? Do you just want a job here? Being on the table. But I'm like, I love it. Hell yeah. Are you kidding me? And ever since then, just went there and started working there. And a couple months later, I just went into Bull Street Comics and looked at the back issue room, started bullshitting. And he was like, I really need help. So I'm like, I mean, I'm free. So I started working there just on credit, just whenever I wanted. And then it just happened to become a full-time job after that until, you know, he started taking me elsewhere.
Just promise me you won't ever work for Nerd Out, though. No, I'm just kidding.
Me and Glenn don't get along. He is rude to me every single time I'm there.
Yeah.
And it's sad because I really enjoyed shopping there on Mondays. It was like my number one place to go. And I would tell everyone, hey, Nerd Out on Mondays, like, until he started putting stickers on his shit.
Oh, he is.
And then I'm like,
he doesn't like to give deals.
I mean, but then why have deals every Monday and advertise it?
Because he's hurting for business and customers. His Mondays are really slow, so he wants to make money. So, I mean, any chance he gets to screw somebody over and make some money.
Let's bring it to
deals like every day this past week.
Huh?
From what I'm saying? Hasn't he been having deals every day this past week or something?
I think
because
so.
there's no new comics. So when there's no new comics, business is kind of slow, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That cover is beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's take it back to some good subjects here. Yeah. Actually, it's an airbrush cover too. So it's cosplay cover and an airbrush cover.
Do you mind doing a close up?
Yeah. That's what I'm doing right now.
I really do enjoy the cosplay covers.
Yep. This is a airbrushed cosplay cover, so that's pretty cool. Never seen one before, so yeah, it's a Frankie's Comics exclusive. Yep.
Nice.
That would be the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Not only if I could do like a Jubilee cosplay cover.
What you said? Yeah. So how have you cosplayed before? So how's that work out?
Well, I do my own twists on them.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not your typical cosplay. I like to do things more on a barber style and also buy things that I will wear again. So it's definitely more on the cheaper side, but I think for MegaCon, I'm definitely going to go all out with my Jubilee. For sure.
Oh, yeah, you would look great as Jubilee.
Yeah. I said Jubilee or a hack.
On it, but
yeah, Jubilee or a hack and slash kid, the hack and slash character too.
Oh, got a good one because Jubilee at one point was a vampire also.
I know.
Could you do like a hybrid of like Jubilee and Vampirella?
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is that my idea in my head was already kind of sexy on the Vampirella side, so I think that just made it perfect.
Yeah. I don't know if you would go like that far, like wearing the Vampirella. I think it'd be funny if like you were doing like the Vampirella, you know, the way she dresses, but then like over that you're wearing a Jubilee yellow coat.
And that's the actual style I was thinking about. Maybe not the whole like.
See, he agrees. They agree with me.
Definitely with the Jubilee jacket. You know, adding some fangs would be pretty badass.
Oh yeah.
They agree with me. She'll make a great Cassie hack. Like I said.
Maybe let's see how far my hair grows out.
Mm.
Then again, also like I would like to pop some gum at MegaCon. Kind of like really impersonate the whole persona.
Nice. Oh, if I could, like for the longest time, I've always wanted to get like. I love those guys that dress up as stormtroopers, like the 501st Legion, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that even Diamond, like they would sell like replica suits, like around Halloween time, and so they would have a full stormtrooper suit that you could purchase for like $1,000. You know, and it's like I haven't seen them do it in a while, but like even the guys at the 501st, like I know that you can probably contact like one or two of them, and they can, you know, either they can make it for you and you pay them, or they'll tell you where you can go to get like the pieces so you can build the suit yourself. But I've always wanted to dress up as a stormtrooper. That, and I'd love to dress up as one of the Ghostbusters. Especially with the new Ghostbusters movie coming out next year, which I'm excited for. And then I've always liked Indiana Jones also. Like I think it'd be cool to like just have that whole get up as Indiana Jones.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be pretty badass.
Yeah, I thought a couple of them. I thought about a couple of cosplays, but I'm thinking about comfort now. The like Tony Chu. Yeah, like I thought about Tony Chu from the Chu comics.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I thought that'd be a pretty cool one to do.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've thought about a couple, man. It's like But and then I thought about comfort, but some of them are going to be comfort. Why?
Yeah,
I'd rather
How you put your own style in it because you could just be comfortable in what you're wearing.
Or just create an original idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, for last year for Tampa Comic Con, I was just Spider-Gwen, like drummer version. Just like I was ready to go to band practice or like a rock concert.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Would you ever do like a Black Canary?
I would do White Canary.
Okay. Because I know like Black Canary, like in the
It's her sister. Like
she had a band.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then again, she's pretty badass on her own. I don't know if you've seen DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like 2-3 seasons behind, I think, but yeah.
Katie Cassidy. That's
Awesome.
who she wants to do.
So.
Oh, that's a great character, and the actress is good. It's so crazy. It's like I think it's cool how some of these actors, like when they take on a role, they have no expectations as to like, oh, I'm going to get my own TV show and I'm going to be the lead playing this character. She was just originally like Black Canary for Green Arrow, and then they killed her off and then bring her back, and then now she's.
I mean, when you have the whole like Fountain with the League of Assassins.
Yeah.
The Sarah.
Oh, the Lazarus Pit.
Yeah.
Lazarus Pit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Sarah was trained by them, so 10 times cooler.
Right.
And she survived on the island as well.
Yeah.
Well, TJ, that's their origin story. So you got both of their origin stories now.
Yeah.
Yep. So TJ likes you guys, so that's a good thing from the YouTube community. So that's really good.
I appreciate that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, there's still a lot of people watching us. There's like 12. Our highest was at 18 at like 2 hours ago.
I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I think it's because of me. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, we know why they're watching. They're watching because Barbara is here.
Barbara. The guy said there was a special guest. I didn't tell him who the guest was.
Well, I mean, honestly, like this has been really fun. Like, I'm glad you joined us, Barbara. I hope you come back again next week, and keep talking about comics and like all the new stuff coming out, movies, TVs, all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm finally gonna see this new Star Wars movie, hopefully tomorrow with my boy Jerry. So
that's cool.
Check it out. The movie's I like it. It's my favorite of the new trilogy.
Like the friends used to say, it's like all these guys used to say. One of the friends says it's powdered sugar and rainbows. That's all I'm gonna tell you. It's powdered sugar and rainbows.
That's gonna be your new tattoo.
the new Star Wars movie. It's powdered sugar and rainbows.
Yeah.
As long as there's lightsaber fights in it, like a shit ton, I'm cool.
There's a lot of action in it.
Blasters.
There's a lot of action in it, and I really do like the relationship between Kylo and Rey. That I will say, like the one good thing like that I really liked in The Last Jedi was how they were connected by the Force, and they could like face to face like have conversations with each other.
Telling Barbara to see Uncut Gems, not to go see Star Wars.
Yeah, I heard Uncut Gems is pretty good too.
Yeah, and then they say Adam Sandler might get an Oscar for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said Sandler may get an Oscar for the performance.
I finally realized why Adam Sandler looks so different. Apparently, he was wearing fake teeth for the character for the movie. So every time I look at the trailer now or like see clips, I'm always looking at his teeth, trying to see like how different that makes his face look.
I like powder sugar too. And when you joke about it, I might just get a tattoo.
Yeah, powdered sugar and rainbows.
I'm itching for another one, so.
I got two on my back. So.
Rise of Skywalker was dope. I own a house full of Star Wars merch, so I don't count.
Hell yeah!
How did you first get into Star Wars, Barbara?
So my friend finally pushed me to go. So I've been waiting to finally like catch up on this movie, and I just fortunately been busy with bullshit. So I finally one day said, fuck it, I'm gonna watch all these fucking movies. And it took me 3 weeks, but I finally got the hang of it and I actually watched them all, and now I'm just like obsessed.
So you watched all of them like this year for the first time?
Yes.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. It kind of took me a little time to like really understand them. So I finally watched them in chronological order, and I know that's not the right order.
Oh, so you actually watched it literally from episode 1?
Yep.
Oh, interesting. I always like in the future, I kind of want to have like twins runs in my family. So I kind of hope that I have twins. And
No, you don't.
yeah.
I'm a twin.
Oh, really? Fraternal or identical?
Fraternal.
Okay. That's how my dad and my uncle were. They were fraternal.
Yep,
And,
that's another secret. That's another origin story that she's a fraternal twin.
But what I'm hoping for is like, it sounds kind of like, I guess, weird, but I want to test my kids differently. Like, if I have twins, I'm going to have one kid watch Star Wars from episode 1 to 9, and then I'm going to have the one watch episode 4, 5, and 6, and then see how different that they kind of like interact, or how differently they look at Star Wars. Like, just curious.
Good luck, because twins usually do stick together.
I know, I'm gonna have to be clever. I'm gonna have to bribe them. It would be mean too. Like if I turn to one kid's like, if you do this for me, you'll be my favorite.
That'd be so wrong, man.
I'm just joking. I would never do that. That's horrible.
Oh, I promise you don't want identical girls. That's even worse.
Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared to have girls.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having a boy and a girl. That's all. I wouldn't mind.
I don't know. If I had a girl, my goal would be I would want 4 boys, and then the 5th one would be a girl.
You have to be a total tomboy for that, for sure.
Yeah, but depending on what the wife would want, man. Depending on what the girlfriend or the wife would want.
It's not my body; it's her body, so it's her choice.
Yeah, so, that's 4 kids, man. That's 4 coming out of her. 4 kids coming out of her.
If she says no, I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to get a divorce and go get another woman because I have to have those 5 kids.
Oh my god!
I'm kidding.
I just want 2, man. 2's enough, man. I can imagine. Dude, we got one of our friends. It's the boy who had 7, so he has 7 kids.
Yeah. I have a buddy of mine who currently has 3 kids, and he definitely wasn't planning to have 3 kids. He was okay with just 2. And I always give him shit. I always joke with him. I was like, hey, you're gonna name your next kid after me? And he'd just give me a look like, we're not having another kid. I'm like, yeah, you are. And he'd just get mad. He'd get flustered. And I joke with him and I tell him, listen, do you know why I give you a hard time? He's like, why? He's like, because I know how badly you don't want to have another kid. So I remind you, I make these jokes to remind you why you don't want another kid.
Yeah, but that normally when you really don't want one is when you get one. It's when you really don't want one. That's the time when you get one.
No, I don't think so. I think what happens is they kind of like slack off and they get lazy and they're like, oh, we'll be okay. We're not gonna have another kid. We're safe. Let's go ahead and. Oh shit, you're pregnant?
No, I'm living with my sister and her 3 kids, and I thought it would be hell, but actually, it's really amazing.
Well, it's fun to be an aunt. It's almost like having a friend who has a dog, right? Not that I'm trying to compare kids to like dogs or animals or anything like that, but I mean, when you have a friend and they have a pet, and you go there and you play with the pet, and you're like, okay, bye. That person still has to walk the dog.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Well, she can't go by because she actually stays with them. So it's a living babysitter. That's what it is.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
But I enjoy it. It's agonizing love.
I feel bad because my sister, she has 3 kids. And I suppose you can say we're not close. We have different moms, same dad. And plus she's like 12 years older than me. So like there's a huge age gap and different, family settings. And so like she goes and she has these 3 kids, and I'm glad that we connect on Facebook because I get to see, she loves her kids. And so she's always taking pictures of, of the kids. And I have 2 nieces and a nephew. And so I love that she posts those pictures because now I get to see them kind of grow up even though I'm not there. And it's so crazy. Like her oldest is already driving. So I know like in another year or 2, she's going to be graduating high school, and it sucks because I feel like I've missed out on her entire life. We have like no relationship. Like they don't know me. I don't really know them, and it's like, it's tough because they live all the way out in like Ohio.
Randall, read that. Read from Air Spider.
A couple video rental spots. It would be fun. I don't know if it'd be profitable, but I think it would be fun.
I know. I heard the comic game in Ohio is actually really good, especially for buying cheap comics in bulk. Just from because Justin's from Ohio, so and a lot of there's like 3 or 4 guys that come into the store that come straight from Ohio to Bull Street Comics and do slabs with us and buy comics straight from us, and they said it's really good. So you never know. Maybe there's a future for you in Ohio.
Oh yeah, maybe. I mean, I think my sister's even posted like, because she lived in Florida for a small period of time with her mom, and like they went to St. Augustine, and so like my sister like has made comments like maybe because like once the oldest is old enough to go to college, she might be going to college around there. So like they might actually move to Florida, and it's so bad. Like I'm a bad Floridian. Because people are like, "Do you know how to swim?" I'm like, "Not really." Do you speak Spanish?
You're not the only one.
Not really.
You're not the only one.
Like,
I don't know.
Are you
Yeah, you're not the only one. I don't know how to swim either. So
yeah, but I mean, like, I've never actually been to Miami, and I've lived in Florida for like over 30 years.
Well, I can say
great food.
Yeah,
I can say I've been to Miami this year.
And St. Augustine, like I have friends that will like drive out and like visit St. Augustine, and I'm like, I've never been there once. But I see like dozens of friends that are like, "Oh, this place is beautiful looking. It looks amazing." But I'm like, I think most people when they go to St. Augustine though, it's couples, so it's like sort of like almost like a couples retreat. I guess like I guess in order for me to go to St. Augustine, I should get a girlfriend, and then like have a reason to go to St. Augustine.
Man, you don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't need it right now.
I've ever had with my friends, honestly.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean, especially when you hit up on the local comics, like he wants a nagging boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Or the boyfriend or girlfriend could be into the same stuff, and then you guys won't be nagging at each other.
I still get nagged at. I apparently spend way too much time with, back issues. But I mean, I don't want to miss out. Or else, how would I found that Hack/Slash Vampirella Jenny Friesen variant if I didn't spend my entire 30-minute limit looking for it?
Yeah, I wouldn't give nobody limits, man. It's fun to dig in boxes anyway, so it's like you never know what you find in the box.
Oh yeah, I will say this though, I hate it. I absolutely hate it when comics are on the floor, like the boxes.
Yeah,
such a pain in the ass. I mean, like I've gotten so bad now where like if I go like even at a convention, there'll be like 30 long boxes. I only go through the boxes on the table. The ones that are on the floor, I'm like, not worth it.
Well, at a convention, yeah, there's too many people like walking around you and stuff like that.
Yeah. The worst thing I hate at conventions is the guy that doesn't wear deodorant and he's digging through boxes right next to you. I'm like, oh.
The cliche is real. The cliche is real.
Yeah.
I went to a high school with a girl that I remember, like, we went on like a high school trip, and like one of the girls that was rooming with her was like friend/girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, and so they were like telling me like, oh my god, like they were like really like not happy that they were roomed with her because she smells. Like I guess she doesn't bathe. They literally were like, when she wasn't looking, they were spraying perfume on her. Like, it was that bad, and I was just like, ugh, like you feel bad at the same time, like what's going on? Like, why aren't you keeping yourself clean. Like, why do you smell? Why are you dirty?
I like comics on the mind. I lay on the floor to go through them. I agree. Actually, that's why I love Urban Legends so much. I can literally sit on the floor and dig for hours, and no one's gonna bother me.
Oh yeah,
it's so comfortable. Greg is awesome.
Very cool guy. Very nice guy.
It's like a second home almost.
He's starting to remember me because I tell him I actually don't go to a store very often, you know. So for him to remember me, for somebody who doesn't go there often, I take that as a win. I told him straight up, like, listen, when you see this face, Electrical Blue Superman, you know, like, you know, he like, I bought it several times, and he's like, you're the electrical Blue Superman guy, right? Yep. One time he thought I was Jeff Tay.
How the man?
What?
I was just like, you know, I don't want to play the I don't want to say he's racist. You know,
he's not.
Mistaken identity happens. Identity.
Yeah. Hey, at least I didn't get mistaken for you.
Yeah. That would be funny. Oh, you know what it is too? Because Jeff actually picked up a Blue Superman, Blue Superman comic for me one time at Urban Legends. Okay. So like, I think that's what happened was like he got confused because he's like, there's only one person that should be buying this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be me. No, that's you know that I'm sorry. That's the other thing I don't think I even told you too. So a friend of mine, also by the name of TJ, he was one of my customers. We still keep in touch from time to time. Very busy guy. He used to buy the same Wolverine comic book from me all the time, and I never questioned it. I'm like, cool, you know, that's cool. You're buying another copy, okay. But he was the one that brought it up. He's like, you're probably wondering why I'm always buying the same Wolverine comic, and I was just like, sure, you know. And he was like, well, you know, because back in the day you could write a letter, and when you mailed and submitted a letter, you had your letter might get published in the comic book. And so it turns out that same Wolverine comic book he was buying was the one that had his letter published in the comic. So he says every time he sees that comic book, he buys it, you know, always buys it. Like, he probably has hundreds of copies of that book by now. And he got me thinking like, man, you know, like, that's kind of neat. Like, if I had to choose one comic book to buy over and over and over again, like literally try to buy as many copies, what would it be?
Mine's God Country. Because it has sentimental value to me. So
right, God Country for you, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, it is Superman 123. So like, I'm always going around buying copies of that book. I probably at this point have maybe 200-300 copies at least. And so like, I joke with everyone. I said, watch, eventually you're going to go on eBay. You're going to go to the comic book websites, and you're not going to find that book. Get that book. It's because I'm going to have the majority. And that's the thing about comic books and collecting is like, once a book is, once it becomes scarce, once it becomes harder to get, all of a sudden the demand for it, like, you know, like, oh man, this is a hard book to get, I better buy this. And then all of a sudden the people who do have it that are turning around selling it, they'll be selling it for more money because they know how much harder it is to get that book. So the value will go up. I went to a convention one time and these people were selling it for like $15 or something like that. And I was just like,
you told me this one. It was at C2E2 where the lady was selling it like for 20 or something like that.
Yeah. She had 2 copies, and I tried to talk her down on it, and she knocked off a couple bucks. And it's so funny because she was just like, you know, this is a hard book to get, and I'm like, really? And she's like, why are you buying 2? She's like, why are you buying 2 copies of it? And thankfully, like, my brain was smart enough to like react real fast. I'm like, oh, I like to buy doubles. You know, so I made it sound like I don't have a copy of this, and I'm buying it because I buy doubles. You know, so she has no clue. But she got my money.
You're playing on her dumb side.
Yeah.
Which is my absolute like worst thing when I go to conventions. I get down talked when I buy comics, and it just
okay. Well, let's talk about it. Like, so how is it going to conventions? How is it going to comic shops that are run, you know what I mean, guys that are run by
They're
guys.
ripping me off, and I try to tell them, and they don't listen to me. That's all it is. It's like, oh, I'm just a pretty girl trying to buy cute comics. No.
Oh yeah, they play on that. I hate that too.
I hate it too. We all hate that.
I've worked in sales long enough and retail long enough that the golden rule for me is you treat everyone exactly the same.
Yeah, but the comic book guys, you know it, Rando.
It's misogynistic. You know, they think, oh, you know, and God, you can only imagine how they feel about the cosplay community.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, the whole fake fan. You know, like, oh, you're not really a fan. You're just
like, is it really a fake fan? Like, do you know how much dedication and money it takes to cosplay?
Oh, much more than comics. I've seen people. Yeah. I will say this though.
That's why I'm cheap about it. I'd rather spend my money on the comics, but
I will say this: like, it's their money and they can do whatever they want. You know, but I will say that, you know, even if you were, I mean, I feel bad when I talk to a cosplayer who doesn't buy any comic books at all. And I'm like, you can't even buy one comic book, like one comic book a month? That's like $4 a month.
Are there really people out there that do that?
Huh?
Yeah, but they spend a hell of a lot of money, man, on cosplays, man.
Yeah,
I know. That's their hobby is cosplay. I understand they spend a lot of money on that. But if you come out and you say like, oh, I'm a big fan of this character and I love this character and this and that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. So do you read any of the comic books? Nope.
Are these characters at least in a show or a movie or?
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
I can see that, but like if it's just a character in just comics only and you're cosplaying them, you don't buy any of their comics.
And then the big thing too is like when you're cosplaying, you're cosplaying at comic book conventions, you know? So it's like you got to have at least a couple of the comics, right? You know, you got to be, you know, even just a little is fine, you know, but it like to not even touch the comic books, to not even read the comic books. Oh, I like the character, you know. What do you know about the character? Oh, I just like how they look, you know. And I'm just like, I'm like, okay.
I mean, I didn't really like starting like Jubilee until I finally watched the X-Men, and then I finally read her, and then I was like, oh my god, this bitch is a badass.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, her power isn't, like, the most amazing. It's gorgeous. But then you actually read about it, I'm like, oh, shit, no, she actually can do shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, it's all the, what was it? All the animated series is by Jim Lee's art, mostly. That's mostly Jim Lee's art.
And what, was it Generation X? He does a variant for them, and it's a Jubilee variant. It's one of my faves.
I mean, my first experience to Jubilee was the animated series from the 90s.
Me too. Yep, me too.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? When she breaks the
arcade,
and he's like, you know how much that costs? And she's like, yeah, $0.25.
That show, that pilot, like the first episode or 2 episodes, they had so many great one-liners. To this day, like I'll never forget, like used to hang out with my buddies and play Halo. Like we'd have like Halo parties, and somehow like it's, you know, we're all like, it's all for one. Like everyone's killing each other and like trying to like, you know, win the game or whatever. And I would just kind of like, I died but respawn, come back and end up killing everybody. And like one of my buddies was like, "How the fuck did you do that?" And I'm always quoting Gambit. I'm like, "With style, Petite, with style."
What does he say?
Somebody asked me, "How did you do that?" Always.
Such a romantic. Even in that show.
Yeah.
That's one thing I own is his first appearance and his first cameo appearance, and I actually got it in a huge lot for $14 in good condition.
Ooh.
So you don't have his first appearance?
Not yet. Not yet. One day.
Good to know. Good to know.
Along with my first appearance of Spider-Gwen.
You
I
mean
remember when Spider-Gwen first appered. Actually, do I have a copy of that?
Do you want to look? Do you want to see it? I have it. Yeah, but Barbara's favorite character is Spider-Gwen, if you guys didn't know. So if you guys have any Spider-Gwen stuff and you guys want to A-OK her or anything.
I gotta know. when they renamed her Spider Ghost. How did you feel about that?
Ghost Spider.
Ghost Spider. Yeah.
Sorry, Ghost Spider.
I dug it. I didn't think she should be called Spider Woman. Sorry, Spider Woman.
Yeah, she should be Spider Woman.
No, she should be Ghost Spider, and I think.
Oh, you think she should be Ghost Spider? Okay.
Because she was an anti-hero. Let's be real here. She didn't always follow the rules.
Sure.
Didn't necessarily want to be a hero. She just kind of took on that role and actually fell for it. So I thought I love anti-heroes.
Okay.
And that's why I love Spider-Gwen so much. And plus, Spider-Woman's
I love the idea of an alternate universe where it wasn't Peter, it was Gwen that, got the powers and abilities. Like, I thought that was neat. It sounds crazy, but I'm the type of person where, like, one of the things I do love about comic books is that they can always find a way to take a character that's died and bring them back.
Mm-hmm.
And I have always kind of wanted them to bring back Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy. I want to see like how Peter would react to two characters that he loves so much, and they're back now.
Remember the What If?
They've done What Ifs, yeah.
They're like supposedly that's Gwen Stacy's her first appearance because she sticks her hand out at the end from the grave. Shit, I own it somewhere.
I don't know if that counts. I mean, there's a lot of speculation.
Huge debate on it, but I thought it was a cute theory.
Yeah. The theories are always fun. They're great. God, like what?
I got it, except for her first appearance.
Yeah. $200 for that book.
I know. That's why I don't have it.
Yeah.
Well, she might be getting a early birthday gift soon. So I'm not saying who from who, but
comic though. That's a pretty sick comic you got there, though.
Yeah, it's Tale Wits of the Black Rose. Since you were talking about his Catwoman, this is Jim Valiant's independent work.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll make myself bigger so you guys can see it better. Yep. Not for kids.
I'm not gonna lie, I love the way Jim Valiant draws women.
Yeah, it's not for kids. Yep, not for kids, and it's actually a adult book. So yeah.
Jim Valiant is literally one of the nicest guys. I heard at this past MegaCon, if you showed up to his table early, he'd give you a free small sketch.
Yep, I did, and I got the Tarot #1 signed by him, and
Nice.
Catwoman #1 signed.
Dude,
So.
I still think he has the best Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in love with that Catwoman. If she were existed in real life, I'd go buy a ring right now.
Oh boy,
it'd be very cheap because I don't have a lot of money. But
yeah,
she could just go steal a ring, right? No, I'm just kidding.
And there you go. I feel like that would mean more to her, actually.
Yeah. It would be weird, right? It'd be weird if she'd propose to me. No, I'm just kidding.
There's not a woman like that. So it's 2020 now, or it's about to be 2020.
Right?
Who knows?
Right.
Anything's possible.
Well,
I've seen a couple posts. I've seen a couple posts where it's kind of a trend, I guess, where there are girlfriends that are literally asking their boyfriends, "Will you marry me?" And some of these guys are like, "Okay."
I've actually seen that happen at Applebee's once.
Oh, really?
Sexy Asian woman just embarrassed her boyfriend by doing that.
I wouldn't
say no.
I wouldn't be either. I mean, I would still get him and actually ask her, but if she asked me first, I wouldn't be against it either. So,
I mean, at Applebee's though,
Mhm.
on the PA
Right.
system,
As long as it's during half-priced apps, if it's around that time, thumbs up. Let's do this.
Aggressively relaxing. How you doing, brother?
love it.
Air Spiders here. Everybody's still here. A lot of people are still here. So I'm surprised. We're hitting 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
Exactly. Unfortunately, it is 1:30. I do have to go.
Well, I'm calling it now anyway. So I'm going to call it now anyway. So.
Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining, Barbara.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So, we'll talk to you guys
for
later.
hosting this stuff as always.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm ending it. I'm ending the stream now. So
right.
Hold on, guys.
Thank you so much for